What's going on, motherfuckers? Welcome to the Crocs and Hot Pockets podcast. My name is Knackers, and today is Sunday, July 14th, 2019, and this is episode number 98. This episode is a free-for-all, and tonight I am joined by Blackwrath, SaltySam, and the MiddleAgedStream. Blackwrath, how you doing today?
Doing very well, sir. Thank you for having me back.
You are very welcome, man. It's good to see you. SaltySam! How you doing there, Salty?
Doing good, man.
Good, man. It's good to see your beautiful face. And MiddleAgedStream, what is crack-a-lackin'?
You're the one that's crack-a-lackin',
Oh,
sir.
baby. Are you... I'm not going to go there. Okay, anywho, we're going to get to these guys in just a second. During the show, if you would like to ask us a question to be answered in the Q&A that is at the end of the show, use the !Q command in chat, followed by your question, and we'll get to that a little bit later. If we are not live and you'd like to ask a question or submit some feedback or suggest a topic, you can shoot me an email at podcast@knackers.com. And lastly, if you enjoy our podcast and you would like to see it grow, and you feel like supporting us in a completely free way, please consider leaving a review for this podcast on your podcast app of choice. So as always, what we're going to do is go around the room, introduce you to everybody. They'll throw out their social media and where we can find them online. So SaltySam, sir, let's start with you.
My name is SaltySam. You can find me on Twitch at SaltySam, Twitter at the SaltySam, and Instagram Salty all day.
My name is Jimmy, aka MiddleAgedStream. You can find me on Twitch and Instagram at MiddleAgedStream, MiddleAgedStream on Twitter.
And I am Blackwrath, formerly Blackwrath5150, but all my handles are found at Blackwrath5150 on Twitter and Instagram. That's where I'm most active. And then Twitch should be Blackwrath_. Drop the rest.
Hell yeah. And my message to you today, you are now about to realize all of the pains that come with changing a username with your links changing and stuff.
Yeah.
No, it'll never end. Like a year from now, you're going to go, damn, my Tinder profile no longer, well, you're in a relationship. So my farmers only profile had my outdated Twitch URL for years. And you'll find stuff way down the road. So first and foremost, I need to know what we are sipping on tonight. So SaltySam, what's in your cup?
Orange Shandy tonight.
Ooh.
I got the seasonal pack that I like Leinenkugels Canoe Paddler a lot. So it's the only pack that comes with that in it.
It doesn't come by itself?
I think you can buy it by itself, but like I like getting all the seasonal shit every year, no matter what the fucking season is. So there's one that comes with just 4 different shandies, and then there's one that comes with 3 shandies and Canoe Paddler, and that's the one I always get.
Have you had the Soft Parade shandy yet?
No.
Oh man. If you like me, you like fruity things, which means you're gonna like fruity beers. So if you're out and about and you're at your favorite liquor store, you're cruising down the aisles and you see a Soft Parade shandy by Shorts, snag that bitch. Also, internet dating is also super fucking good that I've been obsessed with lately. So if you see it, grab it.
I'll give it a shot.
If you, I was just about to ask what Paul asked. If you had to pick between orange and lemon, which one would you sway towards?
Lemon, probably.
Okay,
That is the correct answer.
Yeah. I don't particularly like orange flavored shit.
Yeah.
I don't either.
I don't know what it is. I just rather have any goddamn thing else.
I'm trying to think. Orange, like an orange cream slush, is still pretty fucking good. I don't think that orange juice tastes like orange flavored things.
No.
Like
Orange flavored, like this, it might be made with natural orange flavoring, but it's still just orange flavored.
right.
It basically tastes exactly the same. It just doesn't have that bite of a lemon on the end. That's it.
Okay. Kind of
Which
how
I
like
enjoy when it's hot.
grapes don't taste like grape flavored things. Like, what the hell is grape flavor? It is definitely not fucking grapes.
Just pure sugar.
Yeah,
It's
just sugar.
Whatever that flavor is in anything is always the one with the most.
That's why we refer to those flavors as colors, like you're referring to purple flavor is what you're referring to.
Okay, dude, that purple stuff, baby.
Yeah, yeah.
Purple drink.
I kind of with Paul though. Blue Moon is a good orange flavored kind of drink, but
It
Pyramid would
is.
be like lemon, wouldn't it? Pyramid drinks are like the lemon style, the Heffenweisers.
The Hefeweizens?
Heffenweisens. That's more lemon style beer.
Oh, is that where
I
it
think
like
you
originated
usually-
from?
I don't know if it's where it originated from, but I know where. I mean, if you add a slice of some kind of garnish or some kind of
So
fruit,
typically,
Blue Moon,
usually
you want
in
orange.
Germany,
I think it's like
the
lemon.
Okay.
Hefeweizens are actually the orange. The
Oh,
crystal
okay.
Weizens are the lemon.
Oh,
Got it.
So that's where that comes from. And the only reason I know that is I drank a lot of beer in Germany.
we're just gonna refer to you now as Dr. Untapped from now on. You are no longer middle-aged stream. If you ever like accidentally show your dick on stream, get banned, and need to rebrand, Dr. Untapped is definitely where you should head.
I agree.
The only when you were talking about orange flavored things, something came up into my head from my childhood. Do you remember those orange shaped and flavored chocolates that you could buy that you would smash and it would break off into actual orange slices?
Yep. My sister used to love them fucking things.
I also used to love them.
They're
and
like
then I
this
had it
big.
again originally and it was disgusting. I thought it was so gross. But maybe my palate is just, matured, with me and my old age and wisdom and knowledge that I've accrued over these past 28 years. I'm about to be 29.
You're young as shit.
Month and a
years
half
back
away.
from me.
I will say that I definitely still feel 16. The only thing that doesn't make me feel young is just being fatigued. And that's something that I'm trying to figure out why I feel so fatigued all the time. I don't necessarily think it's from being overworked. I think it's malnourishment and obviously sleep schedule. But I still feel like, Jimmy, do you feel your age at all?
Some days, absolutely. Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
Some days you
more
wake
than
up.
Others.
Okay.
Yeah. Some days you wake up once you pass a certain age, and you'll know once you get there. But it usually happens to men around their 30s. There's some days you're gonna wake up and you just don't feel right. Like you just sore, and there's nothing that you really did that's any different than any other day.
Weird. You just slept weird, and it just fucks you up for the whole day.
Yeah,
My girlfriend
like you're
keeps
gonna have
teasing
like
me about that.
shooting pain down your neck. You become an old man one day. It just happens. It just happens.
It becomes a day where your body is not used to doing random shit. Like everybody has their little protocol, how they live their life day to day. And for the most part, we're very fucking stuck into that groove. But like, perfect example is working in these fucking attics in my house.
Oh yeah.
That's a guarantee
hunched
that my
over
back
all
is
day?
fucked. Like my back is totally fucked by the end of that day, even if I'm up there for 20 fucking minutes, because it always involves hunching over, having to watch every step so I don't Tim Allen that bitch into my living room. Like, it sucks. That's where I'm at right now, because I just got done doing 2 days in the attic.
What I will say is that feeling, like me looking at myself and going, okay, I'm 28 and I take naps on more days during the week than I don't. And to me, that just makes me really angry. It infuriates me that I'm only this old and I'm so tired sometimes that I can't do the things that I want to do. Like my brain wants to do the thing, but my body can't. And I will say that is way more of a motivator for me to focus on a healthy lifestyle than the weight and the look of myself. Because I see myself in the mirror sometimes, look a little chub. I'm like, you know what? That's just, it's going to be life. That's going to be okay. But then on the days where I come home at 5 o'clock and I have to take an hour nap just to wake up and live, then I'm like, this is fucking stupid. I can't believe that I am this young and I feel this shitty. And that's way more of a motivator for me to actually, try and eat healthy and go to the gym and stuff rather than the physical aspect of being healthy. Because physical aspect it's unattainable sometimes.
I'm just impressed we managed to draw this conversation out of what are you drinking, SaltySam?
This is the power of Crocs and Hot Pockets. What do you know about us, baby? Woo!
Crocs and hot tangents.
Yes. And I will say, I think that's kind of a skill that we have all built over, the course of being streamers and being podcasters. Even now, ever since we've stopped writing, I've stopped writing scripts for the podcast, there's still this little fear of when it's like an hour before and I'm like, shit, we don't have anything to talk about and I don't have any notes and I don't know what's going to happen. And then I have a flashback of the episode 2 weeks ago where it's a 2.5 hour episode and I had one thing that I wanted to talk about. So I will say, if there's anybody out there who thinks like, man, I don't think I can stream, I don't think I can podcast because I can't think of things on the spot. First of all, you need 3 very attractive men in order to accompany you on said podcast. And 2, wait.
What do you mean?
Wait a minute. In practice, it's something that I think if I would have tried to remove remove scripts from the podcast 2 years ago, I think I would have failed miserably. But after constant training and practice of just talking to people, and I've done a good amount of research on how to have a conversation and mainly how to listen instead of how to wait for your turn to talk. I can't stress how important that was for me to learn, because it was something I struggled with in the beginning. And then you realize once you start listening to people, it's way easier to build on a conversation as opposed to just being like, oh, I'm just gonna wait for my turn to talk and I'll say my thing. Because if you're not listening and your guest isn't listening, then you're just gonna have a bunch of conversations that just dead ass and dead end. Yeah. But anywho, MiddleAgedStream, what are you sipping on tonight?
I have got a Austin Beer Works Tropical Einhorn sour beer, and
sours.
I've got a I got this when I was in Oregon, in Portland. My wife bought it for me. It's called Monkey Puzzle. It's distilled, I guess, there in a place called Troutdale, Oregon. And I guess it's around, I don't know where that is. But it's whiskey with hops and honey added. And it's pretty decent, actually. I tried some of this last night. I didn't know if it was going to be any good or not, but it's actually pretty solid. So I'm kind of enjoying it. Just got this little kind of bottle I brought back from Oregon. And
looks fancy.
No, it's cool, man. I like
really
the little
interesting
monkey puzzle. I don't know. I probably can't see because of that ring light. But anyway,
the hops come into play.
There's just a note. It's just a note on the back end. You actually get the hops, and then you get the honey right at the very end. So it's nice.
The fuck are you talking about? Notes back end? What is this talk?
You know what? Just don't worry about it.
No,
just don't worry about it.
Shut.
I want to learn.
Look, just we'll get to you and your.
You got to be able to hold it in your mouth for 5 seconds before we can start talking about notes and back ends.
Seriously.
Wait, are we still talking about whiskey right now?
You gotta. I don't know. That is also. Yeah.
I only know of one back end.
Knacker's like, oh, I know what we're talking about. Yeah. This is more my language here. I'm talking about holding liquids in mouths for long periods of time.
Do you, if you get a whiskey that isn't great, will you chuck it or will you try to find another way to drink it, like mixing it with something else or making a beverage?
I would definitely try to mix it.
Yeah, I would try to mix it.
I wouldn't waste it.
Or I'd give it to somebody that likes to drink it, because I have enough people that are booze heads that I know that would just drink it no matter what anyway. So
okay,
I would just be like, oh, here, have this.
Like people with low standards.
See, I'm a little bit of a snob when it comes to booze, so I don't care. I'm like, I can't drink this. When somebody else would be like, it's booze.
Are you like that with beer as well? Is there like if somebody hands you a Bud Light and it's like it's all we got? Are you drinking it?
I drink it. No, okay. I drink it. Yeah. No, it's not like, it's one thing if it's, if that's all you got, but usually, I actually have a sign in my office that even says life is too short to drink cheap beer. And there's something to that mantra I actually believe. So
I totally agree. I think if I were to have that sign, I would Sharpie edit it to say life is too short to drink cheap beer all the time. because
Yes,
you can only make so much money. And holy fuck, some craft
Absolutely.
beers are expensive.
Dude, I have to be I have to be very selective with my craft beer purchases because I know I could spend several $100s a month on craft beer if I wasn't watching it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm actually kind of winding down. Like pretty much I'm near the end of summer, and pretty much once August hits, I don't drink nearly as much as I do because we start football, and that's man.
You've
I'm
only got so
outside
many
the heat.
weekends to drink.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
I got 2 weeks of summer vacation left essentially, and I'm gonna make the most of these last 2 weeks. Let me tell you.
Have you ever thought, like, if you ever hit the lottery or like made it big on Twitch and you had some expendable income, would you ever invest? I guess let me just know if you've had this thought process. Would you ever invest in like a liquor store so that you could just buy alcohol at cost and then just fill a home fridge?
That would actually probably be the smarter business decision, perhaps. But no, I have fantasized about having my own like bar.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Having my own bar, and I could pick what beer I would have on tap and have a couple video, like arcade machines in there, maybe a pinball machine, some TVs, just I mean, I've always thought that would be cool, but man, those things, there's no way. That business venture is so fucking risky,
Is so this
any fucking service-based shit nowadays.
Oh yeah.
This is a question for all three of you. And Blackwrath, I'll let you go first. If you had to choose a job that was completely different from what you do now, and something along the lines of a bartender, and I don't mean this in a degrading way whatsoever, but like I have a job that it isn't like such a wide array of super technical things, but I'm very technical in one aspect. If you had to be like, you know what, I hate thinking a lot for work, and I would rather just have like sort of like a more mundane but like people person job. Like, is there a job out there that you know what, instead of having all the stress of work, I would just rather take a pay cut and go do this certain thing, and just make a little bit less, but not have to stress so much, or not have something that it like takes so much brain power every single day. Oh God. Oh,
what? We dropping?
No. Okay. Oh, OBS on my gaming PC. It froze, and you guys are on 3 monitors right now. OBS, streaming PC monitor 2, and monitor 3. And this one froze. I think the NDI just froze. Weird. But yeah, what is something that you would do that's like, okay, I just want to go to work and just do something that isn't so brain intensive. Not that bartending isn't brain intensive, but it's like once you learn all the drinks, I think working, it would be not easy, but easier than
routine.
Yes, more. There we go. That's a perfect way. More routine, and rather than like, oh, there's something new every single day. What would that job be?
I actually wanted to be a bartender for a little while. I still kind of do. A lot of my job is kind of. Fortunately, I don't have to be on the sales floor anymore. I still interact with a lot of the community, but in a different aspect. I don't mind. I mean, service industry seems daunting, especially when it comes to bartending. You can find yourself in such a weird situation a lot of times that late. But I'd like to be more of a mixologist than just a bartender. If I'm going to get into it, I'd rather learn good drinks. I don't want to just pour something just for the sake of getting somebody drunk, or just I want to actually have somebody enjoy the drink. I want to especially when I'm making something myself here, I take the time to learn how to make it, what goes into it, to the teaspoon of what ingredients should go into it, and if it tastes a little bit off, I'll adjust it the next time I go into it. But I'd like to learn different drinks and different concoctions. So I wouldn't mind doing that. That's something I would actually get into more.
Okay. Salty, what about you?
I don't know. I fucking hate people in general.
People are the worst.
Like the public in general, I really have nothing.
Okay.
Like this entire time I've been thinking, there's nothing I want to fucking do that involves people anymore.
Okay.
My job is one where it is either just me or maybe 2 or 3 other people around at any given moment. I'm pretty much left to my own devices at this point. So, and I have the ability to just say, fuck off
Right.
Like if people are pissing me off, I can just be like, you guys can just get the fuck out of here. That'd be great.
Fuck off.
So I don't know. I don't. My job, the entire time I was going through school, I was basically training to do what you do, and then like as I'm in college, halfway through my associate's degree, I got the job at the plant.
Okay.
As blue collar as it gets, working in the fucking heat, working 12-hour shifts, and they just keep paying me money, so I just keep coming. It's not worth. It wouldn't be worth the pay cut to go back to computers again.
They just can't.
Yes, I said that.
Oh, did anyone else just hear that?
I think
They
it went
keep
over
paying
my
me,
head.
and I keep coming.
They keep paying me money, and I keep coming, and nobody else reacted.
I missed it.
God dang it!
I was listening way too hard.
Oh, you obviously were. Jeez, somebody quote that. Jesus Christ. Okay. Is it my turn?
Yes, it is.
I don't have a fucking clue. I don't like people at all.
I work obviously with my job as a teacher and a coach. I work with people all the time. It's a component of my job. I have to actually be okay at dealing with people in order to do my job the right way. You know, don't have to be the best because I definitely know I'm not, but I have to be okay at doing it. If I were to do a job that was a mindless type job, it would be like Salty said. It'd be a job that didn't deal with dealing with people, but it would also have to be a job that had an outdoor component. Like I could see myself doing something like working one of those fishing stockyards, you know, like where they get pools of fish and they stock it with trout or whatever, and they release it into rivers. Like I could do like a job like that, where you only have like really a couple, you only have a couple real busy seasons of the year, and then the rest of the time you just fucking bullshit, whatever. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what those guys do. Yeah, I don't know what those guys do, but it'd be outdoorsy. If the weather was shitty, you stay inside. You're not dealing with a lot of people, and it's not rural enough to where you don't have a cell phone service or shit like that. So yeah, I mean that'd be great.
Okay,
that'd be great.
When you talked about and this is what kind of sparked the conversation when you talked about having a bar, and I'm like, you know what? Bars in general, like I'm not one to go out to a bar. By the way, when you come into town, remind me to take you to the fancy bar where they're $15 cocktails, because even though they're $15 cocktails and you might get an umbrella in your drink, it's a great atmosphere that I think you'll enjoy, and you get fucked up on one drink. So remind me to take you there. And I also think we should go to a butcher and get some fine meat.
Meats.
So I was thinking, you know what? I think one, I understand where you're coming from and wanting to have a bar, because I enjoy creating something that people consume. And I mean that in a cooking way. And also I've always had kind of a thing to want to learn how to make drinks for people, but it's like, oh, sweet, vodka tonic. Here you go. So creative. A+ job. So I think in the service industry that I work in now, people only call me when they need help. And it's the same thing why. So I think dentists have the highest suicide rate out of any profession, because everybody hates seeing you. Nobody wants, well, there's some weird people who just love having people look at their teeth and poke around in there. But most people don't like going to the dentist. And so I would think that while you probably would get a shitload of people that are a little on the off side, you are you are here because you probably need a break from life, and let me guide you through this journey of relaxation and chill. And then you get to, like I said, you get to take them through that journey with whatever you create. And I think there's a lot of value in that. So like, I think that I could probably go and be a bartender, because I think I would enjoy that. Because like, again, like right now, working when people only call you when they need you, and then not only do they only call when they need you, they have to pay you afterwards too. So there's that dynamic that comes into play as well. And I think it was Paul that asked in chat, why would you want to have like a mundane routine job? From a streamer's perspective, I would love to have a job that took way less brain power and more physical work, because I feel like I wouldn't be so exhausted all the time. Like,
you can get your creativity out when you get home and you're just busting it out on OBS or whatever you're trying to plan on. Yeah, that makes total sense, because you're not so
working on my
exhausted
toes
mentally. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
If I could make as much money as I make, not that I make a ton of money, but if I can make as much money as I make teaching and coaching, doing something that was like a simple kind of repetitive type of job, there's a chance I could do it. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, as rewarding as my job is, it also requires a lot of hours too, and I am tired a lot during when it's peak season for me, which is coming soon. I'm beat. I totally empathize. I get it. I do.
Yeah. And even if you're not doing shit, you're still tired just because you're there for so fucking long.
Right. Yeah. Like your ears are still on no matter where you go. Your brain is always still processing information, whether you're paying attention to it or not. And what I will say too is something that I didn't realize is when I switched from being an on-site IT person to being an off-site hired IT person, there's a totally different dynamic of the people that you're helping. Like when you're an on-site and you are paid to support them no matter what, you kind of have I need to fix this problem no matter what because I'm just getting paid a salary. And then there's the other side of it where it's like, oh, I kind of fixed it, but it's not 100% fixed. If you want me to 100% fix it, you're going to have to pay me another, 4 hours worth of labor. And that was something totally different that I didn't really realize when I got into this job. So I think if I could go back, I love my job right now, as tiring as it is. If I could go back to being an on-site person where it's just my job to maintain the infrastructure in the building and I'm not responsible for other people. Because the other thing too, I know this is super boring, but there's some people who pay us to take complete control of their network. All of their technology, we're in charge of everything. And then there's other people who call us to run their Windows updates every 6 months. So when you're in the mindset of I need to have everything documented, everything done a certain way according to all process and procedures, and then you have other people like, no, I don't want you to touch any of my shit. But it's like, but it's all broken. Your entire network is in fucking shambles. Like, no, I just need you to update my computers and then go away. And that's super weird too.
Well, the going back to what you were saying about the whole, I mean, it's nice to think about. The reason why it doesn't work that way is, I mean, we're talking about having a job that requires you to think a lot as opposed to a repetitive, monotonous job. I mean, you're basically describing the difference between skilled versus unskilled labor.
Right. Right.
I mean, that's what you're talking about. And that's the reason why movie theater ushers don't get paid that much, because and that's why you don't get paid that much. Even at the highest level, if you work your way up at McDonald's from a cashier to manager, I mean, manager, you'll make okay money, but you're going to be working your ass off, and it's going to be the same shit all the damn time.
Right.
Still going to be dropping them fries, bro.
So, I mean, it comes down to, even though it's fun when you're working a job that requires, and like yours, that requires a different set of skills, a particular set of skills to do and do well. It can get draining. It can get tiring. But the alternative is doing a job that ultimately, if you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, it's going to become monotonous. It's going to become repetitive. And then
eventually
you're going to want to be doing anything else.
Yep. I always said that there was a point where my savings had run out and I was unsure if I was going to be able to continue not working before finding the job that I wanted. And I was like, I could go back and work at Jimmy John's in a heartbeat without even thinking about it twice. Like if it got to the point where I had to go back to work somewhere, I could walk into a Jimmy John's and be like, let me work. And I would be happy, because that still to this day was one of the best jobs ever. And especially being a driver, because when shit gets crazy, you always have a reason for you to leave the place of work. And if you don't like your coworkers that much too, getting a chance to leave it is pretty fucking awesome.
Gotta go, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
To your point earlier, though, about bartending, that's kind of why I wanted to do something like along the lines of like mixology, because at a bar like what you're talking about, people are there to be, they want there to just, in most cases, at least in the cases I've gone to bars like that, most people are just there to have a good time, not to get down and out and get slammed and shit-faced drunk. There, I mean, the drinks are pricey, but you're getting a drink that you like, and usually you're in company that you want to be around. So There's a bar like that you just tell them what kind of liquor you like. If you like it like kind of dry or smoky, and they'll make something different for you. You're not there to order a Tom Collins. You're not there to order a Jack and Coke. You tell them you like a Manhattan type drink. You like these kind of whiskeys. They'll make you something completely different that's kind of like that, which is why I love those kind of places. Always trying something different every time you go there.
Do you remember where we went for chicken and waffles and brunch when we were there for TwitchCon? That cute little place that was on. It looked like it was a house.
Yeah,
it was on a corner.
I don't remember the name of it though.
Okay,
I know the place you were talking about though.
But if I'm there for TwitchCon and I say, "Hey, is that how the fuck?" What?
I don't know how you have the memory like that, but yeah, that's the place.
I don't either.
Remember now.
How far is that?
Okay. I'm gonna stop you both right there. I'm gonna tell you right now. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Women
remember everything.
Fucking forget. I know Salty's had plenty of stories about his wife and how she writes shit down. Women don't forget shit like that.
Nothing.
Men forget shit like that. Women, they don't ever.
Yep. Nope.
They don't.
And they write a lot of notes that you don't know about.
Yeah, they do.
If I have said once over the course of the year that I was looking at buying something and I never get it throughout the year, it's probably going to be like under the Christmas tree. And I'll just be like, how the fuck?
Right.
That's what you talked about it last January.
We just saw it in chat right there. Women do not remember things. They archive them. That couldn't be said any better.
I will constantly, and it's probably annoying as fuck, but I constantly ask my wife where shit is in my house.
I do too.
It might be my shit,
mm-hmm.
but she knows where it is before I do, guaranteed. Even like in this fucking clusterfuck behind me.
Yep.
My wife likes to
be
joke
like,
about it
yes.
because my son does the same shit. Like, oh, she tells me, like, what's wrong? You can't find it because you have a penis? Is that why you can't find it? 'Cause it seems like no one with a penis in this house can find a goddamn thing.
Pretty much how it works in my house too.
I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't see it. Like, I'll ask where something is in the pantry, and I'm like, it's not in here, and she'll look. She's like, it's right there. I'm like, I swear I looked.
So when either you or your son walks up to your wife and goes, "Mommy, where's the doorknob for the pantry?" and your wife just goes, "There you go, you and your fucking dick again. Can't remember shit."
I don't think she's ever gotten mad at my son. She might one time. I think she did say something like, "Oh, well, I guess the one person without a penis has to find something in this house again." Something like that.
That's fucking great. Yeah, I'll say to Weena, like, "Hey, do you know where that Lowe's gift card is that I got like 4 months ago?" She goes, "Yeah, it's underneath the lamp in the living room." What the shit?
Okay.
Super handy to have around.
Yeah.
Yep. Fuck, I was totally. Oh yeah. So how far is that place? I guess if we know the name, we can look it up later. But I'm kind of thinking I'm gonna make a drive to that place because I'm gonna need some chicken waffles on. Well, how far is Long Beach from San Diego? Is it a shit long?
Long Beach is like an hour and a half from San Diego.
They weren't that good.
It's a drive.
Okay.
So there's plenty of places in San Diego to go to. I'm sure we could find something.
Because the reason I brought this up is because you said smoky. And the smoky Bloody Marys that we had from that place, I have forever written off smoky drinks after trying to stomach that thing.
Smoky Bloody Marys are way different than smoky whiskeys, though. You had the Bloody Marys. Those things are spicy. I'm not a big Bloody Mary person.
Really?
No.
Oh, man, I love me a good Bloody Mary.
I'll take the celery, though.
The celery? See, that's the thing is you throw everything in there and then you just get like Bloody Mary flavored meat and celery and pickles, fucking bacon straws. Bacon straws. So Blackwrath, you haven't been on this podcast in a while. So I kind of wanted to just check in with you, see how things are going. On stream, off stream life, all that good stuff. Kind of what's been up with you and what kind of games you've been getting into lately.
Off stream has been going really well. Got a new position at the job, so a lot less, like pretty much zero time on the floor. I get so much more time. I get more sunlight now. Unfortunately, I got to hit the traffic every time now since I'm kind of driving to and from. But that's given me a little bit better hours. I'm still a night owl though, so I'm still up at all hours of the night for some reason. Streaming's been good. I've been playing a lot more single player games. My buddy finally got me into playing From Software games. Started Dark Souls 1 for a little while. Got like maybe halfway through that till Sekiro came out, and then I've just been going balls deep into that game.
Yeah, how many times have you said you've beaten that game already?
Hopefully tonight will be the 4th time.
Oh my god.
So NG plus 4 will be next, which will be quote unquote hard mode. There's a different way to play the game. When you're asked a question at the beginning of it, you can give one of the characters charms back, and it makes the game exponentially harder. And then there's a bell you can ring in the game, which makes enemies harder. So the main thing that makes the game harder is there's deflects and blocks, and deflects are basically parries.
Okay.
And when you give the charm back, blocks do not save you from getting damage. So you have to deflect everything, otherwise you're going to be taking on like half your HP damage.
Okay.
So that's like technically the actual hard. So there is a difficulty scale in the game. It's just, unfortunately, it just goes from hard to harder to even harder. There's no easy mode. That and just a bunch of Rainbow Six Siege, just playing ranked Rainbow Six Siege.
Have you been playing Siege since it came out? Siege.
Yes. I've been playing Siege since I played basically when it released. I didn't play the beta.
Okay.
Like some of my friends did, but been hardcore at it for some time.
Okay.
Love that game. It's just the thing about that game is just it's different. There's always something to learn. Especially since they changed the mechanics with coming out with new operators and occasionally a new map every once in a while. But every time you play the game, there's just so many different variables that go into it with all the destruction, the different ops, and now that they implemented operator bans in ranked, it just adds a totally different aspect to the game.
That is interesting.
It keeps it fresh. It's just there's always something you can learn from it. If you make a mistake, most of the time it's user error. And occasionally, fortunately, I mean, there has been like recently a hacking problem, but it's very rare in my case, or in my experience at least.
I feel like that's always been the case with Siege. I feel like that hasn't gone away since its inception.
That's every fucking game now.
Yeah.
No hackers in Rocket League. Which I don't think there's any way to like subtly hack in Rocket League. Something's gonna look fucking off if you try to do something in that game.
Yeah.
Like corkscrewing the ball into the net.
Right, yeah. Like, since when can you put curves on balls? What the fuck? Oh man.
But I did actually recently. I took a huge hiatus off PUBG. I just got totally bored of the whole battle royale scene. I think
a
Apex
lot of,
came out. It was great.
Have taken a big hiatus off of PUBG.
Yeah, came back to it though, and after all the updates they've done, it's I mean, you still have a little bit of clunky movement, but
yeah,
frame rate wise, like it runs really well. Hit registration wise, it's gotten a lot better. I've been enjoying it a lot more, but I still get frustrated sometimes when you're just 30 minutes into it, you're good, and then you're dead.
Pop, pop.
And then there goes the 40 minutes that you just spent trying to loot, and it's just like, why do I play this game again?
That's what I can't get behind. Back to Siege. Yeah,
it's a good like end of the night. Like, okay, I've been playing too much Siege. I'm already playing bad. Let's just chill out to some PUBG and then take it casually.
Have you? Before I switch gears, I have been watching Summit play PUBG for the past 4 days. He played it for 5 days straight and did not get a solo win until the 5th day.
I didn't get to see his streams, but I resonated with him so well when he tweeted about on day 3 hasn't won a game yet. And like, thank you. The skill ceiling has risen. I mean, people have just gotten really good at the game, I think, and that's great. Like it makes for a challenging game. The one thing I noticed is that people are gods at throwing grenades in that game now. Like everybody just
it's just like
stocks
CS:GO
grenades. Like it's insane. It didn't used to be that bad. Like I'd run away, go try to heal up. Next thing I know, clink clink, dead. Like,
yep.
what happened? And
Yeah.
it's just incessant. It's just like one grenade after the other, and then just that's the one thing that I noticed has changed quite a bit. Was the grenade play in that game?
Okay. Yeah, I have had sort of kind of an inkling to try it again. But then again, I've realized how much time that you can spend looting and running and looting and running, and it's 80% looting and then like 20% battles.
To be fair, you can play it as fast as you want. Like usually we'll drop somewhat close to like a really hot spot, loot up really quick, and then we'll just go to find action, just so it's like we have something to do. And if we come out on top, we come out on top with even more loot because everybody else did the work for us.
Right.
So I play it that way, and then if we die, we die. We'll just jump right back in.
Okay. Have you given Battalion a shot yet?
I have. I like it a lot. I actually heard you guys talking about it before, and I do agree with Gigantic Gent a little bit. It is kind of like a CS:GO meets Call of Duty. It's essentially Call of Duty. What's the One Life game? Who's any Call of Duty guys in the chat right now? Remind me. I think it's Sabotage, but it's basically plant a bomb. If you wanted to play it like ranked to how it's supposed to be.
Okay.
You get 1 life per round. It's like 9-12 rounds or something like that. It's a fun game. I like it a lot. It's definitely like Call of Duty 1-2-ish online. So quick time to kill, which is my favorite. A lot of snap shooting, which I like. The buy system is not nearly as intricate as CS:GO is. It's much more simple.
Okay.
But it's a lot of fun. I like it. It's a simple game. The registration's amazing. Movement's great. It feels good. Those are the main positives. But I mean, you do get a lot of people who are already gods at the game. So
yeah, I feel like
I feel like I need the Face It program that the competition, the competitive thing they use. So
yeah, I've heard a lot of people that use that. Could somebody just bust through your window?
Yeah, you heard that.
Yeah, oh yeah. It sounded like there was a child screaming in your closet a little while ago.
Oh yeah, that's way back there.
Jimbo, what kind of video games you been into lately?
Man, I've been playing. I finally finished Red Dead 2 after probably 80 to 90 hours.
You've been on that game for a minute.
I mean, and it was funny because I looked at my statistics at the end and it showed that I think I'm around 84% completion. So that means I've done 84% of all the content in that game. Now I know there's other ways I could extend that content with the hunting and all the other stuff, but I'd have done most of the story content in Red Dead 2. So it was a lot of fun, and been playing that. XCOM 2. I got that Bloodstained Ritual of the Night game, which is a lot of fun. It's a lot like Castlevania Symphony of the Night. If any of you guys played that game way back,
that was an interesting looking game.
It is a little strange, but it's pretty fun. I've been having fun with it.
But there's something about the movement. It's like it's almost like the movement of the characters doesn't match the frame rate of the background, and so it's a very flowy
It's a strange, the way that they did the animation of that game is it doesn't bother me, but it is a little jarring. Yeah,
it was odd at first.
Yeah, it doesn't affect the gameplay. And I'm playing on that 1X.
Okay.
So it runs at a pretty stable 60 frames at 4K. So
nice.
It looks really good while I'm playing it. But no, it's a fun game. It definitely is a lot like Castlevania. I think the only thing I could say I don't like about the game is you do spend a lot of time in the menu system, which is kind of a little convoluted, but that's to be expected. I played a fan-made game with my son. I did it. I checked it out. Someone in the community mentioned it to me, and then I downloaded it. It's called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Rescue Palooza.
Whoa.
And yeah, it's basically if you just Google search that, you'll the top thing for Ninja Turtles Rescue Palooza will show up, and it's It's this game that basically has like 60. It's basically a mashup of all the old Ninja Turtle games from the Nintendo.
It looks amazing.
It is awesome. It is a lot of fun. It's
you get to play as everybody in that game.
Yeah, there's like 60 playable characters. It's just a lot of fun, man. It's a throwback to the old beat 'em ups of the 90s. And it's really cool how they mashed the levels up and did the stuff in the game. It was actually really, really clever, and it was really enjoyable. I played it with my son last night for like over 2 hours, man, and he loved it. Like, he thought it was a great game. And so that's really a litmus test for a game that's really a mashup of 90s games to play with your son, you know, so.
Interesting.
60
really
playable
cool.
characters.
Yeah, no, it's a very cool game. Like,
Fucking
it's
Super Smash
local
Brothers.
co-op. That's fucking
Yeah.
badass too.
If you, I'm telling you, it is totally worth downloading and checking out. And I would love to play that, like a 4-player local co-op. The trick would be having 4 controllers that you could use with your PC, like, you know, to do that.
I'm telling you, man, online co-op. Parsec,
I know, dude. I need to
on
look
it.
into that. Yeah,
It's amazing.
Yeah.
The lag time is minimal, very
Well,
minimal.
for a
you
game
can
like
hardly
that,
tell.
it'd be totally fine.
It's perfect. I mean, we play, like, my buddy and I play co-op Cuphead with it, so it's
and that obviously
for a game
needs
where you
much
need to be
faster response time. Yeah.
Fuck that game!
Love Cuphead. I was so disappointed they announced
The TV show's coming.
Yeah, there's a TV show coming, but the DLC isn't coming till next year now. They delayed it. They said they needed more time, so it's like, well, you know what? I love the last game so much, I can wait. So
that's fair.
And then the last big one, I guess I should say, is Mario Maker 2. In fact, I want to say it was Vans Man, because like everybody was talking about Mario Maker 2 in your Discord, and I was like, man, I just got this fucking backlog, man. You know, and then I think Vans was just talking about how amazing it was. I'm like, fucking, I'm buying Mario Maker 2.
It's every Mario you'll ever need. Any side scroller it's great. Everybody's gonna make the rehash of the old ones. Hopefully soon. What was there an official release date for the online co-op for that?
I don't know, but
I know it's coming later. It's coming for sure. It's not out now, but once it does come out, that's gonna be a for sure buy.
Yeah.
So
I was just gonna say that's really the last big one that I've spent. Oh, and Tetris 99, all off stream, but
okay,
that's my addiction.
So you can build levels in like different generations of Mario, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did they include?
And they give you all the tools from all the recent Marios too.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did they include Super Mario 2, the best Mario game in the franchise? They didn't.
No, well, that's because the gameplay mechanics are totally different in 2 than they
Fucking
are in the other Mario
Because
games.
they fucked it up in 2.
There are levels that look, I think, that have backgrounds of like 2 and stuff like that.
Okay.
But as far as stuff with gameplay mechanics, I could even be wrong on that. They might not even have that. I'm thinking,
Okay.
you know what? I'm thinking of Smash Ultimate. I'm thinking of Smash.
I love Super Mario 2. I don't know why. I can't explain it. It's probably the
I've
same
actually
reason.
been playing Super Mario 2 like before I go to bed on my Switch. I gotta say, it's not. I like it a little bit, but
It's on the Switch.
I can see. Yeah, it's on the. It's in the
store.
Nintendo store thing. The
the classic store thing.
The classic store, yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it to you for free because it's so bad.
I think Mario 2 is basically.
I'm being sarcastic.
It's like going to a restaurant and you always order a Coke, and then just one day you're like, man, give me a Dr. Pepper, or give me a Big Red, or give me a whatever the fuck give me a Sprite, it's like it's still cool and refreshing, but it's not what you love. It's just it's all right. You know, that's kind of how I feel about Mario 2. It's
Well, that's
like
when they say no,
it's
we
like
don't
they're
have
out
Dr.
of
Pepper. It's
Coke.
Mr.
Would
Pibb
you like
or
something
7
else? And you're like, I guess I'll have fucking Mr. Pibb, whatever. And that's Mario 2 is the Mr. Pibb of the Mario games. It's basically what I'm trying to tell you.
You know what? I think that's actually giving it a lot of credit. I was expecting you to say that Mario 2 was the RC Cola of Coca-Cola.
No, Mario 2 is. I mean, I enjoy.
It's not that bad.
Mario
I just
2.
said I play.
Yeah, it's just not as fun as the other ones. That's in my opinion, but it's still fun.
It is a different flavor. It's a different flavor, and sometimes you're in the mood for another flavor. I know it acts and operates completely different. I think that I wonder if Mario 2 would have been a little bit more well received if it came out like after Yoshi's Island. Like maybe there was more of the legacy built in the Mario franchise first before they tried to just switch gears completely.
Well, that's because they just reskinned it of a game that was already made. It wasn't like they designed that game with Mario in mind. It was, you know.
Does anyone know the reason behind that? Was it because too much time had passed, or there's just money? Okay, that makes sense.
Yep, they wasted the money on the resources already.
That's honestly, Knackers, if you ask yourself that question about just about anything in life, the answer is usually going to be the same.
Yeah, that's fair.
Especially when it has anything to do with any corporation ever.
Right. Oh God, well, SaltySam, anyway. I know before the show you were talking about the video gaming that you've been doing lately, so hit me up with that knowledge, brother.
I played Ark for a very short amount of time, and very short when I talk about Ark is it was like 6 or 7 hours.
Okay.
And over the course of 2 nights, I think they came out with a new map, so I was just trying it out.
That's a good amount of time for you.
That game is so fucking hard when you're not in a giant group.
Really?
Like, I immediately started cheating. I was just like, fuck this. I'm playing on a single player game. I'm not on a server. Who cares? So I just immediately just started fucking god moding it. But the map's great. It runs well. There's a lot of fucking bugs, a lot of holes in the fucking map that you fall through and go to your death. It seems like even though that game's been around for like 4 years now, they keep releasing shit without QAing it that well, especially because most of these maps they release are made by people that are building mod maps, and then they basically go to the creators and they're like, yoink, here's this new DLC, because that's part of their fucking agreement when you go into their mod shops.
Okay, and people are still buying, still playing it.
Yeah, that game's still super fucking popular, mainly on console at this point. There's not a shitload of, I don't know anybody that I used to play with that still hosts a server.
Not even Coyote?
No.
Really? What has he moved on to?
I mean, he's still playing Ark. He's still doing Far Cry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I thought you meant that nobody, so he's still playing, but he's not hosting his own server.
Nope.
Okay. Do you know how many hours he has into it now?
He was over 30,000 last time I talked to him, and that was a couple months ago.
Lord, that's such an insane amount of time.
I think I'm definitely in 4 digits. I don't know how far above 1,000 I am. Probably not too far. But then I've been playing the fuck out of My Friend is Pedro.
Yeah, the game's so good. I need to go back and play that.
I love playing it, but all I want to do...
Wait, Knackers, you got it?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
All I want to do is fucking fast forward to next year, and I want to watch speedrunners run this game.
Yeah,
because you see like the fucking trailers where the people know what they're doing and they're just fucking like tanking levels. I just want to see what people that speed run this fucking game do, because it's gonna be like mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially glitchless. To watch people that know what exactly every frame perfect fucking trick,
right,
to get through that shit as fast as possible.
Awesome. I know it's hard to see this far into the future and what you're going to want 30 years from now. In your current state of mind, how old you are right now, do you see yourself as video games taking up a good chunk of your day when you are retired?
What do you mean by good chunk?
Like 5 hours a day, 4 hours a day. When you are retired,
those numbers are rookie numbers.
You gotta bump up them numbers.
Man.
Do you see gaming being a larger part of your life than it is now because you don't have a day job to occupy a majority of your time? Or are you like, you know what? I'm gonna build fucking canoes until I die. Like that's what I want to do.
I mean, it's all about moderation, but I think probably, yeah, I'll probably spend more time than I do now. I mean, because it's like, when you're a kid, you got a shit ton of times because you don't have a job. You just got to go to school and you don't have that many responsibilities. And then you're starting to hit that point in life now where you're going to hit, you're starting to hit the peak of a lot of your responsibilities. And then as you get older and you retire and, kids move on, whatever else happened, responsibilities go away. Yeah, I think without a doubt. I mean, but who knows what it'll be like in whenever I retire, shit.
Right. Like, is there?
If I ever retire.
You will someday.
Yeah, our generation is
Cradle
looking
to
a little
grave, buddy.
slim.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? Before I answer another question, Blackwrath Salty.
It's hard not to fucking put more hours into video games for me at this point, because I've played a little bit this week, but I couldn't tell you the last week where I played more than like one day.
But would you if you had the time and energy?
Probably.
Or is there
I don't
another?
know, though.
Okay.
I probably would be the fucking asshole that's making canoes and shit.
Dude, I'm gonna be right there with video games and woodworking. That is my retirement plan so far.
My retirement plan at this point is I have to build a shop before I retire. That's pretty much where I'm at. As soon as I build my shop, I don't really give a fuck.
Like a full shop, like
That's
an everything
like one
shop.
workers' comp case away from paying my house off.
There you go, self-inflicted, brother. You only need one of your nuts and one of your
fell down the stairs
into a nuclear power plant.
That's fine.
Get radiated, brother. What about you, Blackwrath?
Oh, I'll most definitely be playing a lot of video games
Okay.
until I die. So until I die of an epilepsy seizure. So I'll be in this, maybe not this chair, but it'll be in a chair.
What chair do you have right now?
Oh, it's a piece of shit.
Oh, okay. It looks
I picked
nice.
up from Amazon. Thank you. It looks nice, but it unfortunately does not recline at all.
Heard a little squeak there.
Yeah. I told you before we started. Actually, you might have been muted at the time, but I did warn everybody else if you hear a squeak, because I need WD-40.
Just a chair.
Not a mouse.
Is there anything that you would like to get into, or something that you dabble in now that when you think about retirement, like, you know what, I'm going to go full into that, like canoe building, or you want to have the most badass garden on the block? Is there something else that you could see yourself occupying a good chunk of your time? Because you just need something to do when you're looking to get creative with something. It doesn't necessarily have to be a creative aspect, but yeah, is there like any hobbies that you definitely have an interest in, but definitely have no time? Because obviously if you're a streamer and you have a job and a significant other, you have no time for anybody else, let alone family or friends.
Right. I mean, I've had a lot of activities that I've gotten into. I mean, I ran cross country. I have that background. I coached cross country too. So to add on to the other job that I would do, I'd probably like to coach. I'd like to go back into coaching. There's just, I mean, not a whole lot of money into that for that portion of where I'm at.
Okay.
But yeah, I've just recently met this at work, because I work for a running specialty company, and fortunately for the events that I put on, I ran into this. He was 85 and still out there trucking away, putting on the miles, like insane. So
Jack
if I could
LaLanne.
retire and still be seriously Jack LaLanne out there,
I feel
and
right.
he looked amazing. He was just, yeah. I would love to keep on. I'd like to keep up that physical shape and be able to run at that age too. Because I've ran into so many people who are just amazing runners that have gone and run countless marathons and still do, and I just can't. Like, I used to be able to run a marathon. I can't do it now. I'd still go out there and go for a run, but not at the state that I used to. So
that's still
that would be nice.
That's still a goal of mine, is to run a marathon of sorts. I'm retraining my cardio-ness, trying to get back into it, because there's a St. Patty's Day parade marathon that they do, where you run the marathon at like 7 a.m. and then you just get shit-faced hammered at the parade right after. That's a dream of mine. So trying to get back.
Runners love their beer.
Absolutely.
That's how you can get anybody to come out. Happy hour after? All right, we're down.
I'm in. What about you, Jimbo? Other than slaying puss left and right like the everyday that you are.
Dude, honestly, I don't know, man. Nothing really comes to mind. I have a lot of things that I'm interested in, but at the same time, I enjoy, if there's one thing that I have learned in recent years when it comes to leisure time, it's that I try not to plan too much. You know, like I know things that I like to do, but it's like, you know, even going on vacation, like I'm coming to visit, you know, you guys and some other friends in Michigan this week. I intentionally don't plan a lot because I think sometimes it's best to just, when you're on vacation, just kind of go, what do you feel like doing? Especially if there's more than a few people involved, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to have a few tentative plans of a few things to do, but I mean, shit, man. I'm sure by that point in my life, if it ever gets to that, you know, I'll have something that I'll be wanting to get into, but honestly, nothing really comes to mind right now.
Yeah, there's a friend of ours that it's exactly like that. They need to have a plan for every half hour of like each day. Like my girlfriend,
Go away from me.
My girlfriend, I just
like
want
that
to
at
go
all.
and wing it. Like,
Right.
so yeah, not having a plan is nice. Not having the stress of, okay, I gotta go here, gotta go here.
Yeah.
We have time to make it to that.
Yeah.
It's just far too much.
Some
worry
people,
about.
that's the way they are, and that's just not the way I'm built. Not
I'm
the way
like
I'm
that
wired.
on the go, but I'm like vacation and just fucking off time. There's nothing. There's no plan. I go to vacation. I go down to North Carolina for a week every year. From the moment we leave the house, I don't give a fuck until we come back. I'm not gonna. I don't want specifically to do anything at all besides just sit and listen to the fucking ocean for a week. I don't give a fuck about doing anything.
Because during the year, I have such a structured day to day. Like, you know, I know sometimes, Knackers, you've asked me, like, I don't know how you work, the hours you work, and, you know, having a family and doing all that, and still manage to fit in 2, sometimes 3 streams a week when you're working 7 days a week at times, you know? And the truth is, I mean, it's not for long periods of time that I do that, but yeah, I mean, you have to really be efficient with your time. And the only way to be efficient with your time is to like make checklists and do all this. I mean, but if you don't give a shit about being efficient with your time, you just want to go with the flow because you don't want to be stressed out, then, you know, it's the
I
opposite.
love using you as an example when people complain about like how busy they are, how they don't have time to do certain in aspects to streaming. When people ask for like advice, like, no, you know, I don't know, like, I don't really have the time for that. I'm like, bitch, listen to my homeboy MiddleAgedStream, okay? Father, husband, works 7 fucking days a week and has a very successful stream with an awesome community. Now complain, motherfucker. And I do that in a very nice way, a very open, welcoming way. But the message behind
Those
it
are the
is
internal thoughts right there.
yeah, like stop being a little bitch. It's okay, but
it's not the
shut
majority
up.
of the year that I work 7 days a week. You know, most of the year it's 5, but there's definitely a portion of the year where it's 7, and then a lot of times 6. And you know, during peak, I'm working 80 to 90 hours a week, and you know,
and during those times, we're all itching to get back into your stream, man.
I guess the point I was trying to make was when I'm on vacation or when I'm not worried about trying to be real efficient with my time because I'm working so much, I don't really give a shit, man. I'm just like, I just want to go. I just want everyone to be happy. I just want to have a good time. And I don't care. It's whatever.
I'm always a little bit self-conscious when it comes to people visiting and staying in the house. I feel like I have to plan things because I don't want you spending all this money and coming here and then me just not providing anything cool to do. But at the same time, I know that people want to come over to relax and just and chill out. Not the most recent, but I think 2 years ago when we had Bourbon and Mr. 42 staying at the house, and every day we would just like, we each woke up at our own time, and like one by one we would find ourselves in the living room. We would watch Twitch streams for like 3 or 4 hours, like slowly eat. We would drink, like somebody would run out and grab coffee, the girlfriend's getting ready, and then maybe around like 4, 5, 6 o'clock we'd find something to do and we'd go somewhere. And that is my favorite way to do vacation. It's just everybody gets up on their own time. If you want to hang out, you go into the main common room and hang out. If you don't, you know, you go jerk off in the closet, whatever. Yeah. There's so many different ways to go about it. And I think that's
one of closet?
Hey, that's what closets are for. Hanging clothes and jerking off.
Closet?
I don't know if you can find a way to mount up on my server rack and jerk off, you get a gold star. You get a gold star and a high five. But But yeah, it stresses me out sometimes because I want a vacation to be uneventful yet rewarding for the person that's coming to visit, right? Because it's not anything extra for me. They're the person that's spending all the money in order to come here. It's an internal battle for me sometimes.
It's nothing to worry about. The general rule of thumb, if you have someone visiting for the sole purpose of being able to hang out with that other person, if you plan as an adult, if you can think of like just one thing you could want to do that day, that's usually the rule of thumb.
Okay.
Is there one thing? You know what I mean? And if there's one thing the other person who's coming wants to do, then you usually. But like we've hung out. This will be my 4th trip in a row, so we've hung out enough times to where I think you kind of know how I am, and I'm not difficult, man. It'll be fun, whatever we do. So.
Chat, Jimmy's the kind of motherfucker to wake up at 7 a.m. and walk a half mile to go get coffee and donuts and bring it back to the house before anybody's awake.
Typical dad shit.
Yeah.
I like coffee and donuts, and it's nice to kind of like when I wake up in the morning, I just want to like wake up.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm gonna go on a walk, and Michigan's nice and cool in the morning, man. It's not like that in Texas. You know?
Right,
No.
right.
It was
So it's
fucking
like
80% humidity.
the birds are chirping outside. I'm like, oh, it feels so nice outside, you know? So
I'm gonna wake up one of these days and tiles and Jimmy's gonna be like, yeah, I tiled your bathroom. Sorry, I had some extra time. Sorry.
Saw the box in the garage.
Well, I had one topic that I wanted to touch on, but before I jump into that, because that'll probably be our final topic. Is there anything that you guys wanted to bring up? Anything you wanted to talk about?
I just wanted to see what everybody's opinions were with Prime Day coming up, 15th and 16th, tomorrow and the next day are the Prime Day sale for fucking Amazon and this Twitch sells out bullshit they're doing. I don't know how y'all's experience has been, but there is nothing good on sale on Prime Day. It's just a bunch of useless crap artificially marked up to look like it's on sale to me. Like,
yeah,
they're advertising the living dog shit out of it this year.
Yeah.
It's fucking everywhere. I went to, I don't know what it was. It was a tech website before the podcast, and it literally was like 7 articles about Prime Day.
Jeez.
Just because it's today.
Damn.
And that was on a tech news website.
I knew it was a big deal, but I didn't think it was that big of a deal.
Yeah,
right.
It's so shit. And
I don't know,
unless you're looking
there's
to
nothing
buy
that great on there, so I never.
Yeah,
really...
it's like Paul said. If you're looking to buy Amazon devices, you can't beat it. A 4K Fire TV stick for like $14.99. That's fucking great. And you can literally throw a TV anywhere in your fucking house and have a million apps and all. That's what I use on all my other TVs. I stopped buying cable.
I have enough monitors. I don't need any more TVs.
Right.
Alexa tap. So Alexa ain't listen to me.
I have them fucking things everywhere in my house.
Every time I've seen something, I know nothing about Prime Day. I know that it's a day that they think it's their own Black Friday. Too bad it's a sucky version of Black Friday. I've never found anything that I've needed on sale. Not even things that I've needed. Something useful. Like, oh yeah, you know that like rubber tape that you put in between the tile in your kitchen and your rug so it doesn't slide around? That's on sale. Cool. Yep. Don't fucking need it. Give me something worthwhile. So bad. I know that Weenie said that a bunch of Amazon workers are going on strike on Prime Day, which doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, I mean, they make like $1 bajillion every Prime Day because it's just people buying useless crap. But I think the funny thing is that it's backfiring on them at this point because there are so many other businesses out there that are doing something ahead of this. Like, I think Walmart put a huge sale on like electronics, like 4K TVs were like 30-40% off ahead of Prime Day, just as a fuck you. So I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that it's going to end up being better to get other people involved, but I do not need another Black Friday.
No.
It's just like when it's fucking election year. It's just nothing but YouTube right now it's a Prime Day commercial before every fucking goddamn video you watch. And it's annoying as shit.
We
and
are at
Twitch.
Right, and Twitch, so Twitch is in it as well too. Sellout day.
Yeah.
We were at Meijer today, and so super quick story. We have something dead in our crawl space underneath the house, which has filled our house with flies. There are flies everywhere, and Weenie has been going exterminator mode on them. We don't know where they're coming from. We think they're coming up from vents. And so we were at Meijer, and she was going, okay, do I want the raid fly and ant, or the house fly and dragonfly, or do I want the all insects? And it took me a second to think, but I'm like, you know what? They're probably all the exact fucking same. Like, what kills a fly but not an ant? It's poison. And then I'm like, Weenie, do you know that Colgate has 60 different types of toothpaste? They're all just fucking toothpaste, just marketed a different way in order to make you think that they are something special. And that's
100%.
kind of how I think Prime Day is Amazon is already the cheapest place that you can get things. So, and the only way they're going to make money is if things are above cost. So if things are already sold like close to cost, they can only be so much cheaper before they're losing money. So I just don't really, I don't care about it. I never save all of my money for a thing to wait to get on Prime Day. I'll look at Prime Day and be like, oh yeah, I do need some Crocs. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's totally random item.
It's one of those things where it's just like Steam sale for me at this point. I just have my short little fucking wish list. If anything pops up and I'm feeling fucking antsy, I'll buy it.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, the only thing I've ever bought on Prime Day is more Alexa devices.
Give me bits on Prime Day. I'll scoop some up. Give me some $1 gifted subs on Prime Day.
A half off subs.
Right. Is that what they did last year for Prime Day? Or was that
at some point? I don't know if it was
Okay.
Prime Day, but they did
well,
that
I
at
think
some
it was
point.
September they do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that'll be in a couple
Or
months.
do something with Twitch or Twitch. Like,
they're literally just, this is what they're doing, and this is why it's fucking stupid that Twitch is getting involved in this. They're just gonna run on the Twitch channel. They're gonna run fucking infomercials all day long, but it's streamers doing the infomercials.
Yeah.
It's fucking
they just
stupid.
they had Anthony Kong fan and Kevin Smith on too. That was basically promoting Prime Day, essentially.
Yeah.
If you have not seen Kevin Smith's talk or speech sermon at TwitchCon from last year, that is a very high recommended watch from me.
I love Kevin Smith.
Me too.
I'm so sad. I have yet to go onto his podcast Hollywood Babylon, and I live close enough to go to it. I want to go watch that one sometime with Ralph Garman.
I cried like a little bitch.
That's another podcast I'd recommend checking out.
What is the name of it?
Hollywood Babble On.
He was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and they were talking about some serious sad stuff, and I cried.
It wasn't even that sad initially, but when they started talking about that damn dog.
Yeah, that's all you got to do.
It was just like both of them are sitting there crying, full grown. A great dog. It's like, yeah, it was a great dog.
Fuck yeah, dude. When people start talking about pets, man, God, it gets emotional like super fast.
That's the sad thing. Like, I have my girlfriend and I, we adopted a Shar-Pei, and we thought he was a mix because he's not as wrinkly as a lot of other Shar-Peis are. He's very lean. He's very, he's got what we call an RBF, just 100% resting bitch face all day. He's got so much character to him, but we got him. We had a DNA tested on him because we wanted to find out what else he was. Turns out he was full Shar-Pei. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Turns out he was full Shar-Pei, and now we're kind of somewhat sad because full breeds don't live as long as mixed breeds.
Oh no!
And his life expectancy is going to be like 9 years, 10 years. So
I've never heard of.
And he's 3 this September, so we're like, oh man.
You talking about Mushu?
Years. Yeah, Mushu.
Why did I think that you got another dog? Have you had Instagram stories with other dogs recently?
Yeah, probably a pit bull Yeah, that would be a pit bull.
Okay, I need you to check yourself on how you are advertising other dogs.
Our friends pit bull. Like we hang out at a friend's place, so they have 2 pit bulls.
Oh,
one they
okay.
rescued off the streets, and one they adopted too.
Okay.
So she's a tank. It's funny watching them play and fight, but yeah, Mushu's ours.
Weenie and Chad just said something that I like to be funny. You know how you can say things in a good tone, but they're really bad, and dogs still think that, you know, you're being nice to them. Well, sometimes I go up to Boba and go, "Did you know you're half dead? Do you know half of your life is over?" And like whenever we leave the house,
wagging, like
yeah. Whenever we leave the house, Weenie goes, "Boba, I love you. Be good, and we'll be back soon." And then as I'm closing the door, I'll go, "You're half dead, Boba."
You guys are a half dead kind of family.
She hates it, but I don't know. I kind of more in a morbid way. I find it a little bit funny. Cause it is the reality, and you don't want to, right? You don't want to think about it that way. But when you tell a dog like you're gonna die soon, it's a little bit funny. I know not everybody's gonna find that humorous, but
they don't speak English, so
exactly. Say they don't know what's the fuck's going on. There's like, oh my god, my human loves me. That's the message.
They hear the high pitch. That's all they're hearing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yep.
When's the treat coming?
And that's Boba's such a great dog. I don't want to downplay it like he makes me miserable, although he is one hyperactive motherfucker, and sometimes I just need to be left alone and Boba just wants to play. He's a great fucking dog though. He's smart as shit.
I wanted to get a husky for a little bit, but I just know I don't have the time to even. Huskies are another one of those kind of dogs where they are hyperactive. They need exercise. They need to be outside. I can't do that to that dog.
That is what it has stopped me from getting a dog, is because I work full-time job and I stream. I know that I would not be able to give the dog the time that it deserves, and also I wouldn't have the ample time to train it the way that I wanted either. And I won't be caught dead with a fucking untrained dog. I will not have a recluse, because
we got Mushu trained because he's very aggressive. His breed is very aggressive. Like
really
very aggressive. Like
does not look it.
Anytime a random dog comes around, he'll get viciously. He'll just lunge and
fuck you.
The only dogs he really likes are the pit bulls that you probably see in the stories. Like if it's a puppy, he's cool. If it's a dog he grew up with, he's good. Anything else, it's chow time.
Interesting.
So, even after we trained him, like he's gotten a lot better, but there's just still
there's only so much you can do against instinct, right? Yeah.
When he's here in my place, like since we have a yard, I'll have him 1 week. He's back there right now, actually. Like since I have a yard in the back, she doesn't. I'll have him for a week just so he can run around, because she takes him to work, but it's in an office. It's like, fortunately she can take him there, but
right,
she still feels bad enough to where like, well, he needs a yard, so you take him this week and I'll take him back next week. So anytime I'm here, he's just a little soldier running around, just constantly going, barking at the dogs next door, chasing the squirrels, kind of just going from one end to the other. But yeah, when he hits at the bed and I have him here at night, he's just passed out. So that anytime I have him on stream, he's just knocked out.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Well, the one topic that I wanted to get your insight on and kind of hash out. So the reason behind me bringing this up so recently I created a channel in my Discord. Being a streamer and following other streamers, you come across a lot of interesting conversations. You come across a lot of obtuse opinions and perspectives, and I don't like to engage in a lot of them. I like to talk about them behind closed doors and talk shit. Really, what I like to do is take what they're saying and bring it up in conversation when I'm talking with other people, so that I can try and understand where they might be coming from, try to see it from their perspective, and see if my own opinion is incorrect. And that's the most important part. And in us talking about certain topics like this, hopefully if there's somebody that is listening to this in the future that feels the same way, maybe they can see our perspective on a certain side of an issue and then make up their own opinion. So what I like to do is I like to take things from Twitter and talk about them in a positive manner. Whenever I bring up things like this, I am never, ever encouraging anybody to find the person that I was talking to on Twitter and harass them. This is me simply trying to engage in conversation and learn more perspectives. And if I ever catch you going after somebody who has an opinion that I disagree with, I will nut blast you. I will nut blast you so hard into another dimension. So this is strictly for conversation. And it's one of the main reasons I have the podcast, is so that I can talk about things without, because Twitter is amazing. Twitter sucks for serious conversation. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much value you get. I don't care if you think Twitter is an outlet. It is an incompatible platform for having a meaningful, context-filled conversation with somebody else about a serious matter. That is 110% a fact. Not my opinion.
Things can be taken out of context. So many tone is so hard to convey. There's so many factors that go into it. Especially the lack of length. Your
phone disconnects and it doesn't send part 2 of your tweet, which was the part that had the kappa in it. So the tweet that I came across, and this is kind of like a pro and a con of other people's likes and replies coming up into your feed. But again, hey, now we have some content for the podcast. So whatever. Did I fucking close it? No! I've closed the goddamn window that had it open. Okay, hold on.
All right, you find that. I'm going to go to the bathroom, grab another beer.
Do it.
I'll be right back.
All right. Jimmy, fill the dead air.
Okay. So I had the only thing I put on my thing to like think, and this is just a side. This could be really deep, but I don't want to have it deep conversation about this at all. But
I don't want it that deep.
I don't want it that deep. Jimmy, 2K19. I was thinking the other day, do I really get hyped for games anymore? Like, do you know what I mean by that? Like, I kind of do. Like, you know, you're watching E3 and you're like, oh, this shit's coming out. This should come out. But like compared to when I mean, I guess everything's a comparison, right? But I mean, I don't know. I feel like these days, I've been playing video games since I was a little kid. And I feel like these days, the games that I end up playing, it tends to happen more organically than shit that I'm hyping myself up for months on end, or in some cases years on end. And I don't know if I think that's a good thing, because I think I'm not buying into just media shit. But I was just wondering how you guys felt about, like, do you get hyped? Like, do you see something and go, oh my God, I can't wait to play that? Or is it it's a little more subtle for me now, and not like, I'm like, okay, that looks good. You know? Yeah. I think that's just part of the maturing process and getting older, but I don't know.
I think getting hyped by video games has been completely ruined by pre-order and early access and the state of games.
Even the word hype itself, which is so overused, especially in Twitch lingo. How many Twitch channels? I would like to wager a small bet as to what the percentage of Twitch affiliates or partners have a hype emote as part of their emote selection.
Yeah.
There's some sort of variation of the word hype.
And speaking of hype, this is really cynical and so petty, but my 2 most hated words when put together that ever come out of streamers' mouths, stay tuned. Stay tuned. I have awesome things coming. You guys aren't gonna fucking believe what I got planned. We're gonna be streaming every single day. The content's gonna be next level. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Drives me insane.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's just the classic, like, you know,
hype builder.
You keep people coming. Yeah, you're trying to build up suspense. It's like that's what TV producers have been doing for years on end with serial produced shows where there's something. Well, you'll have barely any character development in an episode of a TV show or any plot development, and it's just a bunch of filler. I mean, that's the same sort of deal. Because the reality is, too, when you're creating live content on Twitch, a lot of content is not your best content. You know, I mean, sometimes it's just it's mediocre, it's filler type content. Yep. So to get people excited and coming back, I mean, I think that's just part of the that's just part of Twitch culture, but it's just there by design.
Yep.
Plus, I compare it to like music. I don't give a flying fuck about most new music nowadays. I'm pretty much set, and I'm not gonna get myself overhyped about video games because nothing is. I don't really think anything's come out in the last couple years that I've really given a flying fuck about. I would say at least a couple year
Right.
I still haven't even bought Red Dead 2. And I loved Red Dead 1. I played the dog shit out of that on console. I don't fucking feel like it.
Yeah, well, and that's okay. That's okay.
I really have not been listening to music lately, and I am finding it difficult to get excited about music. It's very off-putting. I mostly listen to talk radio, podcasts, and audiobooks. If I'm not listening to those, I just have the car radio off. That scares me even more. The fuck is that about?
I just listen to podcasts constantly.
Yeah, podcasts are great, aren't they, Chad?
It doesn't even matter what the subject matter is most of the time. It's kind of like the same reason why you listen to talk radio, like sports talk radio. It's like you don't even really care about sports, but it's just entertaining banter.
Yes,
in the background.
The casters. I listen to sports radio almost every single day at some point, just driving to and from work. We have an amazing local radio station that has like 3 different sets of awesome radio show hosts, and I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So again, this is not attacking the person who was the author of this tweet. Okay, this is purely for discussion, trying to understand. Don't fucking go harass people, okay? I'll shit on your mom, even if she's dead. I wish more people stuck around streams for the streamer, no matter the game they play. It honestly frustrates me seeing so many friends struggling because they are having fun, but because they aren't playing a popular game, they barely get by. Goes for myself too. What I'm going to do is read off a couple of my replies and a couple of her replies just to provide a little bit more context. And I mainly want to read off my initial reply, and you guys can tell me if it's an accurate analogy or not, because I thought it was. I've never known anybody to consistently watch a TV show that had an actor they liked, but playing in a TV show that they didn't. Viewers go where the best show is. You can't expect viewers to stay even if they don't like the content that they are watching. Her first 2 responses, their responses, I just fucking doxed. I'm sorry. But TV is different. If I wanted to binge shows and not interact, I would do that. If I want to get engaging interactions with people, I go to stream more often than not. I don't like overly produced streams. I like real people being real and honest. I don't really know what that has to do with everything else. I thought that was an interesting point. My main response was, at the end of the day, if you want viewers to stay no matter what game you're playing, you have to provide a definitive reason for them to. It's on the streamer, not on the viewer. So I see where said streamer is coming from, because they are probably experiencing something either where they have been playing one game for a really long time, or maybe a genre of games for a long time, and they're trying to branch off into the variety ecosystem, and they're realizing, holy shit, way less people come around when you are constantly switching games all the time, and also discoverability, the rate at which new people are coming into your show severely decreases when you are playing games that are older and the hype has completely died down. On the contrary, there are a lot of games that have insane amounts of replayability, like Skyrim, Breath of the Wild, Final Fantasy. I don't think you could probably play Far Cry 2 and get an influx of new viewers into your show. It's kind of one of those one and doneers. You're not really going to get a lot of people that are constantly looking for Far Cry 2 gameplay. You're going to get those diehards that live and breathe a certain campaign, and they just want to see other people experience it, or they get a massive hard on for backseat gaming, and all they do all day is just go into chats and tell them how to play video games. So my main thing was that you don't own viewers. You don't get to decide where people go, and you don't have a right to say you have to stay and watch me for me, not for the game that I'm playing. And I think that analogy of like, I don't know people that go, oh my God, I love this actor so much that I watch this TV show of them playing a character that isn't the actor, and also the show's terrible, but I still watch it. I'm sure there's probably, not to be insensitive, but there's probably some females who watch some movies for like Ryan Gosling because they're just fucking 11 out of 10 gorgeous from toes to head. They're like, I'll watch anything with that person because they're sexy as fuck. And how else am I supposed to get off on a Saturday night? But for the majority, I don't think a lot of people watch TV shows that suck that have an actor. So Blackwrath, because you are our special guest, I would love to hear your thoughts first and foremost.
Well, no, I agree. Like, you don't like, it's pretty much on the streamer. You don't own, like, your viewers don't owe you anything. Like, if you're entertaining and you are able to keep a conversation going within a game, especially if you're going from like, say, a competitive shooter to like a single player game, that's way too different dynamics that you have to like kind of get your head around versus like commentating on what's going on, or maybe just being good at a game. This is just a little bit of an example. I can kind of see where she's coming from, where it's like a false equivalency of where you're coming from with the TV series, because it's not engaging, but it's still the same thing. It's viewer engagement. It's trying to keep a trying to keep a audience engaged. But yeah, like,
no, I got you.
or a receptive audience is what I was trying to say. But if it's the game, then you're not going to get that viewer. Just accept it. Then that's kind of the challenge of a variety streamer. You'll change it up throughout the week. Like, hey, okay, then create a schedule. Let them know when you're going to be live with that certain game. We're going to be here on this game this day. Monday, Wednesday, we're going to do this, and that. So they know what's coming up, so then they can tune back in on those days. But if you're going to be hung up on those people, then you're going to be in for a bad time.
Yep.
Yeah, what you think, Salty?
At the end of the fucking day, you're the product. As a streamer, you're the product, and the people watching you are the consumer. Consumers are going to fucking make the decision in the marketplace always. So
right.
And I mean, the best example, especially for variety streamers, since this topic was specifically pointing towards that, and some of the biggest fucking streamers in the world are variety streamers, but their numbers go every which way. I mean, Summit was playing Grand Theft Auto, was back up to what, like 28,000 subs or something like that. And then he's like, fuck that, I'm not playing that. And he's been flip-flopping between games over the last couple of weeks. He's down to 17,000. He's one of the most OG in, to swing 10,000 in 2 months. And you're expecting, even if you, let's just say you've got 50, 60, 70 viewers and you just play fucking Dragon Quest and that's all you ever play. If you're going to cut half your viewers out over a game, that's probably going to happen regardless of how big you are or how fucking much your time is worth in your own mind.
Right.
And at the end of the day, that's the difference between people that are professional streamers and do this full time and the people that do it part time.
And it's a little bit of an information thing for them too. It's like if you switch a game and okay, this is the lowest I've seen my numbers, then you know your base, then you know they're in it. Those are the people that you know are in it for you.
Yeah.
Like, and that should give you some fulfillment. Like, no matter what, you're gonna, you're reaching certain people that will like you for who you are.
Right.
Like, be grateful for that.
Yep.
And that those numbers. And then if there's a percentage of them that only are watching for that game, then you know.
How about you, Jimbo?
I think I don't remember what it was you said when you first started reading it, but there was something that you said in the beginning of her tweet that had me kind of shaking my head. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was.
I wish more people stuck around streams for the streamer, no matter the game they play.
Maybe. I just remember thinking to myself, this sounds to me, and I could be way off on this. But this sounds to me like someone that maybe hasn't necessarily been streaming long or hasn't really been on the Twitch scene for that long. Because if you've been streaming for long enough, you definitely know that there's too many variables to put it all up. I mean, there's so many different variables that go into Twitch. The time of day you stream, the type of personality you are, how good you are at a game, the type of games you play. And then there's even some luck thrown in too by, just the random happenstance things that can happen on Twitch. So, I mean, I kind of get the point, but I've been streaming long enough to know that there are some times where I'm going to be playing games that some people aren't going to care to come watch. Some people have vocally told me that in chat.
Right.
I'm in the middle of playing a game and they're like, I don't like you playing this. I don't like you playing this game. And I'm like sitting here laughing and giggling and playing a game. And they're like, I wish you'd play this. And I'm like, well, fuck you, dude. I'm not.
I wish your mother would have had an abortion. We can't all win here.
So, I mean, I'm not that mean about it, but I think to myself, you can't please everybody. It's just like I've been doing it long enough to know. I used to even on my stream schedule, I used to put like what game I was playing, and some people do, and that works for them. But I found that I have more fun and I'm better on stream if I just kind of play what I'm feeling like playing that day.
Right.
Instead of trying to say, okay, on this day I'm gonna do this and this, and so
They're definitely putting too much emphasis on that one factor.
yeah,
Right.
It's a lot to put on. It's not if you're a good streamer, you keep doing what you're doing and keep getting better, it's going to work for you. Even in the crowded field today that is variety streaming on Twitch and all that. I mean, there are certain ways you get ahead, but if you're a variety streamer, it's for most 99.9%, it's going to be extremely slow growth.
And but it's better that way because it's organic.
It is.
A lot of these people that are solo, they only play this one game. Even if they're the best at it, their fucking chats are terrible. Just a bunch of shitlords posting titty memes in chat.
Wait, I love titties.
When all you do is specialize in a game, especially a super popular game like the Fortnites and the PUBGs of the world, and even some in the Rainbow Six community, which is still heavy on Twitch. There are plenty of these big channels, quote unquote big channels, that are top 100 channels on Twitch, and it's just fucking cancer. Mm-hmm. It's like YouTube comments up in that bitch. And so, I mean, I don't think anybody, I'm with Knackers 100%. It's on the streamer. It's not on.
Yeah, it's a total mindset too. Like, kind of touch back on what I was saying earlier. Like, do you want, like, it's not that you don't want those people to stick around for whatever game you enjoy playing, but as long as you're having a good time and you're engaging with the people who are there, then be thankful for those people who are there.
Right.
Like,
and yeah, I mean, does it seem like a focus on numbers thing instead of
sounds like too much?
Okay.
100%.
I didn't want to say that because you don't want to judge somebody with because I don't know this person, right? It's just a random passerby on Twitter. So
but to
I try
give
to
them a grain of salt, like,
right.
It's like,
it's frustrating.
It's something they wish that they would do. It is somewhat of a pipe dream. Like, yeah, that would be great if people stuck around, but that's not how this works.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So learn it, like learn to deal with it, or just change your mindset around it and you're going to be better off.
Yep.
Right.
I think that's where Jimmy was going too, with the might not have been around for any extreme length time, because that's something everybody goes through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially, the first forever until you have a steady group of people in your chat and you're just sitting there with your one viewer, which is you, on your phone to make it look like somebody's watching. Like, I've been there. That shit sucks.
I have a couple people there's a couple people, and like one individual, one mod of mine, Buffalo Warrior, who no matter when I'm streaming, even if it's like a bonus stream, he's literally quite possibly always in there within the first minute or two when I go live, like with nearly every single time,
OG.
And it's just like I can't, I kind of joke with him about it. I'm like, I don't know how you do this, and he always jokes like, I have a particular set of skills. I'm like, look, I appreciate it. You're always around, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, because I mean that's a big thing for just from going from the 0 to the 1.
Yeah.
The 0 viewer count to the 1 viewer count for a streamer. That's a huge thing.
Absolutely.
Because it yeah. So I guess sorry I didn't mean to cut anyone off if I cut anyone off, but the point I was trying to make earlier was I think that this is somebody who probably hasn't been around that long streaming on Twitch. And I think if they spend more time doing it, especially if they're doing the variety route, they will find out that it's going to be a fucking roller coaster.
Yeah.
But if you keep trying to focus on getting better, even if it's really very incrementally like myself, you'll see that the roller coaster is going to go like this. You know what I mean? Like you're going to see
you missed a massive dip somewhere in your wavelength there.
Yeah, but essentially, there are some where it's going to dip down lower, But the truth is, when you're streaming, summertime is a perfect example. A lot of streamers that have been around for a while, they see their viewership decrease in the summertime, whereas for others it increases. But I think the norm is probably for generally a decrease,
right,
in the summertime, in the summer months.
Yeah. Well, and you also you got to think of it. The reason why a lot of the OG Twitch channels are still big is because they've been there since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Period. I don't know how many of those channels would have any clout if they started today.
Someone says that all the time.
I don't think any of them would. Any of them at all. The fucking crowd is so fickle nowadays. You'll see channels. There's one I know by name, but I won't mention it. And it is one of the people that is in the GTA RP scene and had a major character through a long time, and he was, as I saw it, as high as 6,000 or 7,000, but certain days it'd be way up there, above 10,000 viewers, and took a break because he was getting tired of it. Went to playing whatever the fuck he wanted playing. I saw one of those days he had 60 fucking people watching him. The waves come and go.
Oh yeah.
You have to appreciate where you're at, because tomorrow you might not be shit, or your cameraman will take a picture of some kid's dick and then you get banned for things.
Stupid fucking mistakes, man.
Shit happens, man.
So the last part that I wanted to highlight was a not so great perspective. So one of my responses, by the way, Blackwrath, is your mic muted? Are you there? Hi, hello. Hi. I thought I saw your lips moving.
I might have been muted at the time.
Okay, just making sure. On my tweet saying it's on the streamer, not the viewer, a random passerby said, "Wow." And that's why so many young streamers either want to quit early or do something stupid that may end up being a ban. It's a two-way street, not a one-way. It doesn't help that media pushes for popular games. Why no ideas on how to improve the stream if streamers are to blame? So so much shit packed into one tweet. 280 characters on Twitter is dangerous. Because holy fuck, a lot of description there. This is all over the place. And again, not to be insulting, we're being candid here. The first thing I saw was that it's not a two-way street, or it's a two-way street, not a one-way street. I don't get the mindset where you are allowed to play whatever you want, whenever you want. And viewers are supposed to be here no matter what. So it's so wait, you're supposed to be able to do what you want, but viewers aren't allowed to do what they want. Another thing that I was going to bring up that I didn't was that in our day jobs, we all do shit we don't want to do or don't like doing. You eat the dirt to get the paycheck at the end of the day so you can support your lifestyle. Twitch is not this magical dreamland gig where you can do whatever you want, when you want, never eat shit and make it. Eventually, at some point, you're going to do some shit you don't want to do. Look at all the top streamers who were playing Fortnite just to retain their viewership in order to pass through until the next thing. That is a real thing that happens on Twitch. So the idea that you get to do whatever you want and still do it is bullshit. I'm sorry, that's not how life works, especially in streaming. You're gonna have to eat some shit. Yes. I'm gonna skip over the middle part about media pushing popular games why no ideas on how to improve the stream if streamers are to blame. I think that is a very slippery slope. There is no reason why somebody should have to tell you how to make your stream successful. There's nothing saying that people who know what they're doing have to pass along these secrets and have to tell you, hey, this is what you need to do in order for your stream to be better. That's on you to figure out for yourself. If we all just had this secret sauce that we could just pass down like a recipe, it would be stupid. This entire space would be ridiculous.
Everybody's community is so different. And that is another factor that you probably don't even take into, like your audience's average age, like how early you got into Twitch. What I was going to say earlier, which I was probably muted at the time when Salty made this point, is how long these people have been on Twitch. It's like there was a point in time where console gamers didn't just have a stream on Twitch button on the controller just to flip on. Like, you had to actually have a laptop, a computer, or something to get that image over. I used like a old Hapog, like little device capture to take that image out. That was not cheap. Like,
right.
That was like, streaming has come so far and it's so accessible now that now you're battling against so many other people. These, like, some of the other top people probably got big because there weren't very many streamers out at the time, and Justin TV, Twitch came out, and it just kind of got exponentially bigger and bigger and bigger after that. So there's so much potential, but there's also so much what's the word I'm looking for, dilution in the field.
It's the same thing we saw with YouTube, and YouTube came out in 2006 public, so probably like 2010, 2011, right before I built my first new computer as an adult. And I built that in 2014, and that seemed like then YouTube was just exploding, and it was the same thing. There was a bunch of people telling you what to do to make it, and at the same time, if you don't want to put in the fucking work and you don't realize that it is work and that it is your fucking work to do and nobody else's.
In the end, we're all our own boss. Like, you have to take the ownership of, okay, what are you doing wrong? Okay, is it the game you're playing? And if it is, can you identify that it's not you, it's just what the viewers don't want to see? And can you accept that?
Yep. And the patience.
And just, and then take the patience to build the community you want.
Yep.
And I think a lot of the people on Twitch that don't necessarily want to continue streaming on variety games and like that, they could still find platforms for them.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, if they don't want to continue on Twitch, like for me, if I had the time and the fucking desire to do it, I would rather be on YouTube than on Twitch, because I fucking am really awkward just sitting in front of a camera for fucking 6 hours straight playing video games. I'm still in that fucking first year streamer phase where it's just me staring at the screen and not paying any attention to anything.
Right.
I'd much rather just do a voiceover on a fucking 5-minute YouTube video. Even
COD commentary.
15 hours. Just anything. I don't really care what.
But, Jimbo, I know you have to get up early. Realistically, how much more time do you got?
How much time? More time.
Okay.
I got a little more time. Okay.
So to wrap up this, so that we can get into the Q&A, and I want to read off a couple answers that we got here in chat. What is a brief perspective or some knowledge that you could give maybe somebody that thinks this way? And it's not necessarily, I don't want to say that it's not a wrong perspective, because this is the perspective most newer people have. The fact that they think that they're owed something. The people that think that, oh, like I put in so much work and I don't see any reward. Just because you work hard doesn't mean that you deserve anything on the other end. I'm sorry, but that is the blunt truth.
Not on a platform that's free.
Exactly.
Like you're not paying to be a part of this. You're broadcasting on Twitch for free.
Mm-hmm.
They don't owe you shit.
Nobody owes you anything. And if you have any expectations that people do, you're going to crash and burn really, really, really fast.
Yeah. That's that influencer mentality.
Blackwrath, what would you say on a positive note to try to provide some solution to a problem?
To a problem, or the problem that we're specifically
to this
about?
problem, yeah.
It's kind of like what I was already gonna say, and just get over that mentality that you're owed anything, or that your viewers ought to come in just for the sake, just for whatever you're playing. I mean, if they're gonna come in, they're gonna come in because they like you,
right?
It just doesn't get any more simpler than that. Like, just don't read into it so much. You can, but accept what the true reason is why they might not be coming back. If they're not coming back for that game, then it's the game. Finish the game. Enjoy the time that you have with the people that are there for you in that game. Move on to the next one, and maybe if they come back, they come back. Just don't hold a grudge. Don't take it personally, because most cases it's not.
For sure.
That'd be my advice.
Oh, wise Jimbo.
I mean, there's a million things I could say. I think Blackwrath hit it right on the head. I think you have to have a better mentality. One of the things I like to tell young people, being a high school teacher, I tell young people, students all the time, is that when you have a problem or something's really bothering you about somebody else or something else, say one of the things that can really help solve that is if instead of focusing on what that problem is, look inward and find out why is it that that's bothering you so much. And 9 times out of 10, it's maybe something that you're not feeling good about yourself, and focus on trying to do something better. I had to kind of self-teach myself a lot of the stuff I learned on Twitch, especially the first year before I met a lot of the friends I have now, and really helped shape my mindset about Twitch streaming. And I think I fell into some of those same sort of pratfalls and that stuff early on too. That's why I thought to myself it was somebody that was kind of early in their streaming career, perhaps. So if you really want to get better, I know it sounds maybe pedantic or something. You're fucking, maybe your hippie Mushu guru is gonna tell you at the therapy session, like, look inward. But the truth is, there's so much you can do by doing that. And to give you a practical example of what I mean by looking inward, what is it about your stream? Maybe you've been streaming for 6, 7, 8, 9 months with your microphone facing the wrong direction and your audio sucks. And that's one of the reasons they're not coming back. And you never realized that your fucking Blue Yeti microphone that you paid, that all that money for to get your streaming setup going, it was supposed to be, the cardioid meant you had to flip it the other way. Not that I would know anything like that from personal experience, but I wouldn't have known had I not started to look inward. So it's a process. Take advice. Thank people for constructive criticism. Some of the best changes I've ever made to my stream as a streamer has been from feedback from the community. And don't be afraid to grow, because that's the only way you're going to do it. Unless you're just naturally talented at something that is as crazy hard to do as streaming, to do it well. And there's some people are just naturals, but that is not that's not the case for most. So that would be my advice. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I'll leave that there.
Don't be afraid to grow actually struck a chord with me.
Don't be afraid to grow.
Yeah, no, I don't know why. Like, I think there's like a certain, but at least for me, like especially like a few years ago, like it's just a certain responsibility you feel like you get attached with, like people who actually do start to come in. You do see that growth, and like it could be daunting for someone that's new too. I think that's very wise words to acknowledge.
Okay. Alrighty. Jumping into the question and answer. We have a first question from Paul. It says Blackwrath, auto cocker or E-trigger?
He noticed my paintball guns in the background.
I thought that was something talking about something totally different. So I'm gonna. I'm like, whoa. Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
Well, the funny thing is, I have two paintball guns up to the back here. The black one that's to the left, maybe, I don't know, unless the screen is flipped, to the one that I'm pointing at right now. That used to be an autococker. That was that's a really early paintball gun. I got converted into a pump. So I got into pump really early on, and then when I started playing paintball semi-professionally, we got sponsored by an old company called Angel, and that's the one on this side here. Can't really see it too well because it's kind of bokeh out, but yeah, both, I guess.
Both.
I got into both. I love autocockers. I love E-triggers. It's just I kind of love this. I loved I still do. I don't play it as much as I'd like to anymore. But I got into pretty much every style of paintball, from pump to autococker to just PSP, which is basically just how quick you can pull the trigger and how automatic fire can just.
Okay.
Because that thing can fire about 60 balls a second.
You are the most interesting man. Guy who likes to play paintball, works for an athletic company.
Mixologist.
You're a very interesting man, Blackwrath.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean that in a good way. Obviously. I hope you know that.
I had a lot of hobbies and got in and out of it, but paintball was one of the big ones.
Did you say 60 paintballs a second?
60 balls a second, but
the fuck?
Usually it's capped off. Like, competitive play is usually capped off at a certain point.
60 paintballs a second.
Not that fast. No.
What?
It wouldn't realistically go that fast. The trigger can,
okay.
But the paint would just start chopping at that point. There's a part of the paintball gun that's called the hopper. The one that I used was the Rota. That was kind of like that's kind of like one that everybody used. It's just an automatic feed that just jams the paintballs down into the gun.
Okay.
So that way it shoots as fast as it can. But usually it's like 25, 30. It's not nearly as fast.
That's a lot of fucking balls.
It has the capability of going that fast, but there's no way.
Oh my god.
That would hurt.
You would need a very good feeder for that.
Ow!
60 welts a second,
Usually
motherfucker.
it's 25.
What happened to you, honey? I got hit by 30 paintballs in like 1 second.
All right, next question comes from Bearded Corvus. What game would you pick if you could have a game remade from the ground up and brought into the modern era?
Perfect Dark.
Ooh.
That's a good
Perfect
answer.
Dark is a very good answer. Now I got to think again.
Oh wow, you guys have the same answer.
Perfect Dark is an amazing game.
I love that game.
That game was like
dog shit out of that game.
That was the legit like step up from GoldenEye. Like GoldenEye was amazing for what it was, but once you stepped up to like Perfect Dark and the physics, like just seeing the bodies hit up against the wall.
I know my
and
answer.
having the blood
being able
spatter
to
behind him
and do all kinds of different shit. Yeah.
The laptop gun was amazing. The aliens.
I had to think really hard for a second, but then now I know. And I know some of you guys probably don't know this, but I don't know if you guys played the X-Wing or TIE Fighter on PC in the 90s.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. Can you imagine a modern version of those games?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or Rogue Squadron.
Rogue Squadron,
Rogue
yeah.
Squadron is what I
Even
was
Rogue
thinking
Squadron,
of.
which would be more arcadey because the X-Wing TIE Fighter were more flight sim. You got to hit a lot of buttons, but
basically Ace Combat, but Star Wars.
Yes, that would be. I would love to see a modern version of that, man. I would kill. Yes, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, an old game.
Can I say
revitalized?
How about a modern version Star Wars Battlefront? Like an actual modern version of the original Star Wars Battlefronts?
With a story mode and everything?
I'm pretty confident that if they were to release the same exact game, it wouldn't sell. Like, I have a feeling that game would come out and then everyone would go, wow, this is boring as fuck. Like, it was probably fun back then, but there's a reason they changed that, right? I'm not sure. Weenie said fucking Time Splitters, and that definitely struck a chord with me. I absolutely love Time Splitters. I don't have a better answer than that. One of the first things that came into my mind was do you guys ever play the multiplayer mode on Donkey Kong 64?
Yeah.
It was a third-person shooter, and it was fucking amazing. I would love an updated version of Donkey Kong 64. It's fucking great, man. And it was even better for me as a tiny little Jehovah's Witness boy, because like, Mom, look, it's monkeys, and we go and collect bananas, and we stomp on rhinos, and we defeat the bad guys. But really, we just went to multiplayer mode and shot each other with fruits and coconuts and shit. It was great.
Gamers for Life just brought up Pokemon Snap, the old N64 classic. Oh,
fair.
That was a fun game, man. Yeah,
Yes, it was.
I'd be down for a remake of that. That was fun.
I hated all the auto scroller shit.
I did too, but it was a fun game. Like that was a game like nowadays, with more modern shit, I would love to sit down with like a beer or whiskey and just be like, I'm just gonna take some pictures of Pokemon, man. Have a good time. Be fun.
I think about a lot of games from the old consoles, and I think to myself, I don't think I have the patience for this game anymore. There are certain games that I just don't want to play anymore because
without
I
a
don't have
doubt,
the fucking patience for that shit.
Without a doubt.
Jack and Dax or anybody?
I was struggling just watching you struggle through that game. I was like, that poor motherfucker.
Every time I saw you go online with that game thereafter, like the nth stream, I was just like, oh my God, he's still going at it.
Still going.
Yeah.
On my gravestone, it will read Ass Sucker and Jack 2 Dominator. That is if anybody loves me enough to give me gravestone.
I was thinking of one. I had like two on like my list until I just had an epiphany of one that I really enjoyed, and I don't know if this is classic enough, but it was on the PS2. The Getaway. I would love a modern version of The Getaway.
Heard a lot of great things about that game. Yeah,
it's an amazing game. The story's great. I mean, it was one of the first games that came out with like a cover mechanic that I remember that was also, I don't know if it was shortly it must have been shortly after GTA 3, because it was kind of open world as well, because you could jump into a car, drive, but it was realistic driving mechanics, kind of like what Driver used to be on the PlayStation. And the HUD was very minimal. You didn't get an ammo count. You didn't get anything. And when you're in a car and you needed to go for an objective, it used the blinkers to tell you which street you needed to go down. It would blink a little bit faster when you needed to make that right turn, or it would have the hazards on if you were right where you needed to be. But yeah, that game was amazing. That or Conker's Bread for a Day. But
what about Cox?
Conker. Bad for a Day.
Conker.
That's
which
sorry.
they kind of redid. Like they did like
they kind of did the
but it was
reloaded
not
one.
really.
It was
Yeah,
not good.
it was not. Yeah. But I played the shit out of that original Conker too. The
Yeah.
the multiplayer on Conker was fucking awesome.
That'd be a lot of fun if they redid that properly. But yeah, I think Getaway would be my pick.
Cool.
Third question from Conbot. Been thinking about making an ultimatum for myself for streaming. If I don't get to this point, then I'm pumping the brakes on stuff. Is that a dumb idea?
If you're stressing yourself out, like if it's becoming a detriment to your life, then yeah. But I mean, there's always going to be struggles. I'm a perfect example. I used to stream before the kid came along. I streamed like 4 times a week. I never really kept a consistent schedule because I just can't. I'm a watcher. I will always be a watcher. And there's people out there like myself that I have no problem admitting that. I don't have the fucking time or the patience to put in the work any of these guys put in for streaming. I'd rather just watch other people do it.
I'll go last. Blackwrath.
So yeah, no, if it's kind of same touch on what Sam said, like you can have an addictive tendency to anything. Like if you kept going at it and you find everything else is just getting like worse in your life and it's a detriment to everything, then take a break. But also it's a mindset thing. Like if you enjoy doing it, then keep doing it. And then if you grow an audience organically, then I think that's better. Again, I think I know somebody else said it in chat. I read it, but don't worry about the numbers. Don't worry about your view count. Don't even pay attention to it. Just flip the game on, flip the stream on, have your chat open, of course. And if some people show up, engage and see how it goes.
The ROI regarding looking at your viewer count when you are smaller is 0. When you get up there and you start generating some revenue and you got to start kind of strategizing, then there's a larger ROI. But when you're small, there's no reason. And by the way, small, according to Twitch, is average 30 viewers or less, I believe.
And mind you, I still have in like single digits, barely breaking double digit viewers. So like take that with a grain of salt, but I don't let it get me down. Like I still love doing this. I still like putting stuff out there and having some footage there. Like if something amazing happens, then I can clip it, throw it up somewhere else, and just have that saved. Like it's just, I just enjoy it. That's all. If you get hung up on certain things, then maybe you're just, I think you might just be focusing on the wrong aspect of streaming.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the best thing I could say would be, if you're not having fun, or if stuff that's not about the actual stream, or you can't concern yourself with numbers, I suppose, especially early on. I don't really know what, when you say things aren't going where you want them to go. I don't know what you really mean by that, in the sense that, like, or what the question, what was it? The question said exactly.
Been thinking about making an ultimatum from if I don't get to this point, then I'm pumping the brakes.
Like to what? Like what's the point? I guess that's what I don't really understand about the question. Is I assume you mean like a viewership level. I assume
that's what I assumed.
Okay. And honestly, I don't know what to tell you, because Twitch is a totally different place than when I started over 4 years ago. And I would love to tell you, just keep doing it. But if it's stressing you out, like Salty said, man, maybe you need to readjust the way you're viewing it. I'm not gonna lie and say that I don't get stressed sometimes about Twitch, but at the end of the day, I remind myself that I'm doing this because I enjoy playing video games and I like hanging out with other people. And I try not to let any of the numbers and that sort of stuff. And it's easy to say that. It's obviously another thing in practice, and it does take time to let your brain warp around the weird thing that is Twitch, because there really is nothing else truly like the world of video game and whatever else live streaming. I mean, there's nothing else like it, and that's one of the cool things about it. So if you feel like you need to take a step back, take a step back. And like I was saying on an earlier thing, should sometimes be introspective. If you got to be introspective, that can help you quite a bit. So that's all I got.
The one important thing that I just kind of thought of, which I don't think I've ever thought of before, is that if your point is a numerical metric, what you have to remember is that you reaching that metric can be completely random. It can have nothing to do with anything that you did. You could get a random host from a massive streamer and have great viewership for a little while, and then you might end up right back where you started because you weren't necessarily ready or experienced to be able to hold on to all those people. And then you're like, well, fuck, like I hit my personal goal, but I'm right back to where I started. So much of it, numbers wise, is out of your control. So I would try and stray away from setting hard goals of this number by this day or this goal by this day. Just work hard, always try to improve yourself. And then if a couple years down the road, you're like, shit, I'm dumping a lot of time into this and not really seeing any results, then revisit it then. But that takes years.
And that's if you're trying to make it something that's actually paying bills.
Right.
I mean, if you're going to approach streaming and you're looking at metrics that they give you, that every single person that's ever hit live is going to look at some point, and you have to think about those metrics in the same way you think about shit at a job. Like, did you put in the work? Did you come out with a good product? did people see it? I mean, a lot of times with streamers, it's because there's such a massive market now. People get buried. If you only have a couple, I mean, I would say that most people new to Twitch, especially younger people, they're not watching fucking anybody they don't know that's got, less than 1,000 viewers minimum. Like, there's gonna be a lot of
They're
grinding.
not engaging.
Yeah, because their
They're-
discovery on Twitch is fucking trash.
Yeah, they're relying too much on random people coming in rather than going out and seeking.
Well, and people aren't gonna sit through 15 fucking ads to watch Joe Schmo fucking streaming shotgun and beers in his basement. Like, they don't give a
Well,
fuck.
you bring up a great point, Salty, because I didn't even think about that. The barrier to entry for new streamers is even worse now because of the whole ad situation.
It is
because-
fucking terrible.
I can't imagine what it would have been like when I was starting out and I only had, less than 100, a couple hundred followers, and people had to watch an ad when they came into my stream. Like, I just don't know how my stream would have grown if that. I guarantee it would have hurt viewership early on.
And they're still doing the raid ads too, right?
And yeah,
I think they fixed
I
that.
just hate
that?
I just
haven't
hate
seen
the
any.
fact
I
that
still have a habit of just pausing to introduce myself if
Oh.
a raid comes through. And like,
yeah, it's so
Should I?
terrible.
Or I'll wait.
I just don't get it. I mean, I am one of the only people probably on the face of the earth that primarily watches Twitch from their phone. I don't watch Twitch from my phone anymore unless it's somebody I subscribe to. And
Yeah, the
that's no
ads
offense to anybody, but I'm not sitting through fucking
I'm the
ads.
same way.
but I'm sure the ads. That
I
made
block
a
everything
hinder.
on every other computer I own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm
So-
sure that made a huge impact from going from one stream to the other
It's
just to
terrible.
seek somebody. Now you
Yeah.
don't have those people venturing out anymore. They just they sit in one stream because they don't want to go watch those ads. That's a good point.
Yeah. And plus, like, I'll do shit where I still watched Grand Theft Auto RP. I don't give a fuck. There's always people online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So when I'm working and it's 4 o'clock in the morning and there ain't shit left to watch on Twitch, I watch Grand Theft Auto RP. I am not sitting on the same channel in GTA RP. I'm not watching somebody sit in jail for 40 minutes, but I'm also not going to watch 15 fucking ads while I'm jumping from channel to channel to see if anything's going on.
Well, I'm
So-
looking at Combat posted, and he was the original poster of this question. So he mentioned in chat, I'm not necessarily going for money. I mostly just want people to feel entertained. And very commonly, I'm a try hard when it comes to trying to entertain. And then that's just going to come with practice. Because, man, that's one of the reasons I deleted most of my old VODs, because they are so cringy and that takes time. It just takes time. And I'm not saying that I'm not cringy now, but I'm far less cringy than I was 4 years ago. I know that, because I do watch my VODs and I do try and slowly improve over time. And, I mean, dude, if you really enjoy doing it, just keep working at it. And if it gets to a point where you feel like I can't do this anymore, I'm not having fun, then don't do it, I wish you all the best because I know you're a cool dude. So
Advice number one for not only you, but every streamer in here: create a Google form where people can anonymously submit feedback to your channel. And at the end of every single stream, say, hey, I'm constantly looking for feedback. Click on this link. Let me know what you think, good or bad. You would be amazed at what
How
people
often
will tell
are you
you.
getting responses per week? Like, how many new responses do you get into that?
I wouldn't say it's weekly. What I will say is that since I've implemented that form, which I think is a year and a half ago, I've gotten over 50 responses.
That's a lot.
A lot of great stuff.
That's a chunk.
Yeah. And even simple things that are oversights. Like somebody said, hey, I would recommend not having your Philips Hue flash during podcasts. It's kind of distracting when you guys are talking. And I said, that's a fucking great point. And I turned it off ever since then. And once I said that, a lot of people in chat were like, no, yeah, that was super distracting. But it's amazing. People won't say things. People will say things if they don't have to stand right next to their criticism, because not everybody can give constructive criticism because they don't want to hurt your feelings, and they don't want their name attached to it because they think something negative. It takes a very special kind of person to tell you what you are doing wrong to your face. Even the good friends who you think are giving it to you straight, it's difficult. So that's advice number 1. Advice number 2, I am so torn on this subject because I guarantee that there are a lot of people. If I were to tell people how long I've been doing this and where I kind of sit on the scale of success, people would be like, you're still doing that? You still spend that much time? And then there's other people that not really think that way. To me, I think that, and this is just like a super kind of like macro thinking, if you don't give it a shot for at least 3 years, if you don't dedicate 3 years to at least trying, I don't think you can complain. If you try it for like 6 months or a year and you don't see the results and you quit, you're kind of a quitter. That's my personal opinion. That is not necessarily a fact, but in this space, this particular skill set that is required to do what we all do, it takes a shit ton of practice for somebody that doesn't have the talent from the get-go. Somebody like me that was terrible, had so much to learn about every aspect of streaming. I have learned so much over the past 6 years of doing this, and I still don't think I'm that great. I think I do a lot of things well, but the market doesn't care about you and your personal problems and what you think you're good or bad at. If you are good enough, the numbers will come. And if you're good enough, the market will speak for you. And that's kind of a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. So what I will say is, me being somebody who is about to celebrate their 6-year anniversary on Twitch, do I sometimes get a little self-conscious about being where I'm at? Yes, but that is because I set unrealistic metric goals for myself. Like, if I'm not at this part at this time, I'm probably going to call it. I've done that a lot, and it's always been a mistake to do so. What I will say is that these past 2 years, when I have let go of all of those type of thoughts, I have had the most fun. Realizing that my day job pays my bills and that this, while I take it very seriously, is still very much a hobby. But with that said, you are not going to grow in this space without sacrifice. You are not going to live the streamer dream of playing whatever you want and the viewers are just going to come to you and everything's going to be fun and you're never going to worry about numbers. That does not exist. If you want to see growth, if you want to succeed, you are going to have to sacrifice. You are going to have to work your ass off. You are going to have to really fucking dive into it and learn everything about it. You're going to have to spend 3 hours a week downloading VODs, editing clips, uploading them to different social media. You're going to have to learn how all of these different social media platforms work. You're not going to be able to just go live, stream some video games, and turn off and then have a successful stream. It is going to take a shit ton of learning, a shit ton of work. You're going to eat shit for a super long time, and there's going to be sacrifices. You're going to have disgruntled friends, you're going to have disgruntled parents, significant others. But if you have fun and you love it and you're able to get past that initial kind of knee-jerk reaction of thinking about numbers and viewers, it can be a really, really rewarding hobby. And it's so much about perspective. And I can say with confidence that it took me years and years and years and years to not only look at it the right way, but to be good, like to be a good streamer. And I still think to this day that I have a shit ton to learn. And I have a lot of growing to do. But if you're willing to put in the work and sacrifice, you'll see something. But it's all about like, what's your end game? Do you want it to be a hobby? Do you want to be the next Summit? Because there's big differences in expectations when you look at it that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Next question.
Yeah.
All right. Next question from Mr. Vansman. Are you a competitive person? Could be anything: gaming, sports, work. Do you have any examples?
I'm gonna take that question. I'm gonna go to the bathroom while you guys answer that. I'll be right back.
Go for it.
I am and I'm not. like I like to compete with people, but I don't give a fuck if I win or not. Like competition's always a good driver to get shit done or try to be better at something, but
Right.
I don't really give a fuck about winning.
How about you, Jimbo?
I don't really. I don't really give a shit about winning either.
Except
That's
Street
much.
Fighter.
Except Street Fighter.
and I believe a lossless season of soccer coaching as well.
Oh, well, that would be nice, but that'd be difficult. But the truth is, there's more to life than winning and losing. And you learn a whole lot about yourself when you lose. So someone who doesn't lose anything, they go through. It's unrealistic to go through life without taking L's. You got to learn. Yeah.
You just kind of brought up a point that I'm unfortunately going to have to go back a step into the last part. There are so many amazing parts of streaming, and there are so many rewards that are streaming involved. The memories that I've made, the friendships that I've made, the things that I have learned, just the connections, the conversations that I've been able to have. Like I think about all of the 1v1s that I've had on this podcast with people that I never would have had a chance to talk to or never would have initiated a conversation with. I think about all the fantastic things that we've all talked about on this podcast. If you can look at it from that way too, like not just the am I having fun aspect, but are there other parts of my life that are benefiting from me spending my time? Like when I think about streaming as a whole, I think about the fulfillment and how I'm able to better myself as a person by talking about these issues with people that I respect, the friendships that I make, through Twitch, the things that I learn. Those are all extremely valuable things to me in my life. So if you look at it from that perspective as well, not just the if you're having fun kind of thing, I think that ties into it too. I think that's important. As far as being competitive, there's always a part of me that wants to stop streaming all video games except for a shooter or Rocket League or anything. So there's a part of me that wants to be really good at a game. I don't know if that means I'm competitive or I just want to be better. I don't really know what that kind of spins back to, but I think I have competitive nature, but I don't think I am a competitive person to the part where like I'm no longer fun at parties because I'm foaming at the mouth when Mario Kart comes out. I do enjoy winning, but kind of like Jimmy said, it's not always about winning and losing, right?
Unless it's beer pong.
I will fuck ass over some beer pong. I do get okay. You just brought up a great point. I get pretty serious about beer pong. I make people angry with how much I bounce in beer pong, and bouncing, depending on what college you went to, is seen as a skill or it's seen as a cop out. But I do get down on some beer pong
on a full 8-foot table. It is. If you can get it in off a bounce, you earn that fucking win.
And not a kitchen island. And not on a kitchen island.
Yes, that too. That was difficult.
That was pretty hard.
What about you, Blackwrath? You a competitive person?
Screw you all. I'm very, very competitive. Winning's everything. And no, I am competitive. I mean, I competed. I ran competitively. I played a number of sports, although I was terrible at 99% of them, and that's why I stuck to running. It's just like what you put into it, you get out of it. Like that was that I excelled more in that, I guess, is just putting in the work rather than being able to put a ball in a basket or ball into a mitt. But no, like I play Rainbow Six Siege a lot, and Howie's in chat now. I play a lot with him as well. Like we don't play to lose. Like we love the competitive aspect. I know I can say for myself, like if we lose, I don't take it too personally. Like I don't like rage. Like I might scream at something like just for the entertainment sake or just like the shock value. Like I'm just like like enamored by like what happened, but I'm not gonna get mad at a game. Like there's no reason to get mad at at a competitive thing. Like I take the L's for take them for as a learning point. Like I played a lot of poker as well. I played Texas Hold'em at the casinos. I love the round table, 10 hand, 9 hand. And anytime I lose money or anytime I lose at a game, it's a learning moment. Like, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? And that's how I try to get better at these games. Like if there was a certain strategy that we didn't get right, or if I was holding an angle wrong, or if I just didn't push on somebody when I should have been aggressive, then I'll take those notes. But I take a competitiveness to a certain extent.
The only other thing I can remember being extremely competitive in is high school badminton. I got angry playing that game, but goddamn, do I love me some badminton, man. It's a great fucking game. You just whip that thing as hard as you can. Goes like 3 feet. Good time. All right, last question, and then we got to wrap this show up. From Rock Lobster. As far as living with a girl and both loving games and streaming, how do you split time, and is this hanging out for you guys? I think I'm the only one that can answer that.
Directed to Knackers.
Yeah, it's only directed at you, man.
And middle-aged.
No, my wife's not. She's not.
Or she's not into it.
Yeah, she's not really into. I mean, that's on her phone and shit, but not like. Yeah,
that's not gaming.
Same.
Mobile gamers aren't gamers.
Yeah, I guess.
Feel free to respond to that from your side if you want. I'm going to hide chat so I don't see what she says, and so I'm not emotionally moved to answer in an dishonest way. Streaming makes playing video games off camera difficult, at least for me. It's not for everybody. It's difficult to play games off stream when you have a full-time job, a significant other, house to take care of, pets, and outside of streaming, it's pretty difficult. Gaming is still a hangout for us. I try to not make us streaming together like the most time that we spend. You know, it's definitely like a supplementary activity for us when it comes to spending time together. I feel like if that was like the majority of our time, it probably put some tension on things. Right now, we stream on opposite days, Monday through Thursday. So we kind of see each other for like an hour or two, Monday through Thursday, between both of us working or streaming. Friday is kind of our day to hang out, which is why party night streams rarely happen, because we both get home on Fridays and we're like, okay, well, none of us really feel like booting up a stream. Let's just hang out. I feel like you have to have an extremely understanding significant other if they're not involved in video games and streaming. Like I said, when it comes to sacrifice, you have to have a very specific lifestyle to be able to maintain a job, a family, and streaming all at the same time. It takes a very unique style of life. Hold on, let me look back to this question. How do you split time? Is it hanging out for you guys? We used to stream on the same days. And then I know that's not a thing for you because you guys both stream, on the same channel. We've been at it for 2 years now, and we each have our own time. I think we respect each other's stream, and we do we're so different because you guys stream together a lot, and then Weenie and I only stream together like, once a week, if that. But gaming off stream is still very much a hangout. When we do our party nights, I kind of see that as I'm kind of not being my normal entertaining self. I'm really kind of reserving myself and choosing to spend more time focusing on my girlfriend than I am on chat and maybe accentuating certain situations and stuff. I definitely am less of a streamer when we're doing party nights because I want to play video games with my girl, but I'm also broadcasting because I want to provide entertainment. So it's good because when we stream together, it's more of a relaxed, chill stream than it is like, okay, I need to be on and entertaining and funny and sharp for all these hours. It's definitely a more of a time for me to be able to hang out and spend some time with her than it is the object is to provide entertainment kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's it. Fuck off. Bye.
Later.
All right, so that is the end of the podcast. Thank you guys so much for coming out. We're gonna make this exit swift. We're gonna go around the room one final time, have you guys say who you are and what you have coming up in the streaming space. So SaltySam, let's start with you.
My name is SaltySam. You can find me on Twitch at SaltySam, Twitter at the SaltySam, Instagram salty all day, and I ain't doing shit but working on my house as always.
My name is Jimmy, aka MiddleAgedStream. You can find me at twitch.tv at MiddleAgedStream. Also on Instagram at the same MiddleAgedStream on Twitter. I'll have some intermittent streams over the next couple weeks. After Wednesday, I will not be streaming for an entire week because I'll be out of town and then coming back and doing some work, a little bit of work. So it'll be about a week off. But yeah, I am. Ironically, I'm getting closer to streaming semi-regularly schedule-wise, not the day but the time, just because I will only be able to stream at a certain time here soon because of going back to work. But yeah, after Wednesday, going on vacation, gonna be heading up to Michigan to see somebody or a few somebodies that like to suck ass. So yeah.
Yeah, baby.
And I am Blackwrath. Blackwrath 5150 on Instagram and Twitter. On Twitch, it'll be Blackwrath _. And that's where you can find me.
And you guys know who the fuck I am. So thank you guys so much for stopping by and hanging out with us. Today was an awesome podcast, and I hope you guys all had a great time. This podcast will not be back next Sunday because Jimmy is going to be staying at the house, and I want to give him my full undivided ass-sucking attention. But you can return in 2 weeks for episode 99, coming up on episode 100. Yeah, I actually just realized that I think episode 100 is going to be a 1v1 and not a group show.
I quit.
I'm out. But yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks. If you guys want to stick around to raid another channel, you can do so. But if you got to get out of here, have a wonderful fucking evening.
Wait. I got an idea.
Yeah.
You need to have, and there's nothing that's going to say that you can't do this. How about you have a version 100A and a version 100B, so it's still episode 100. Huh?
We can do that. I'm down with that.
Yeah.
All righty, say goodbye.
Bye.